broadcasting.
So
I did that for a series.
YouTube has this thing. I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but it's like different fan bases. Like I watch the Browns feed and the Steelers feed, and it's like these two fans going back and forth, and they're raising money for their broadcast.
I've not seen that.
Yeah,
now.
they were up to like $50,000.
Let's do it.
That's not YouTube TV. That's YouTube.
Yeah.
That's on YouTube. Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy.
All right, top of the hour here. Don't go anywhere, though. If you want to see Nick Saban's Iron Bowl news conference, we're about to carry that live, and then you'll hear from Hugh Freeze. It's an overtime coming up. Again, thanks for being with us from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino studio. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store.
You remember me when the west wind moves upon the fields of barley. You'll forget the sun and his jealous sky as we walk in the fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze a while upon the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? We'll forget the sun in his jealous sky as we lie in the fields of gold. See the west wind move like a lover's soul upon the fields of barley. Feel her body rise when you kiss her mouth among the fields of gold. I never made promises lightly, and there have been some that I've broken, but I swear on the day still left, we'll walk in the fields of gold. We'll walk in the fields of gold.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
I'm this close to saying, forget basketball. You know, we have a rule on the show that started way back in the day that the lounge did not come back until after the Final Four.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're too jam-packed during football season. But I almost, maybe it's overtime once a week. Overtime once a week is just Rockstar in the lounge just doing covers. Man, my favorite part of when things don't time out on this show,
which is often,
is when when the replay. Well, I mean, when overtime happens, it doesn't all mesh up. The covers that bridge us from the replay to this right here. Maybe some overtimes, or maybe we just do a covered channel. Maybe
cover channel.
YouTube would love that.
Yeah.
VH1. We'll call it VH1 or something. I love a good cover. Rockstar, some of those are just amazing. That was a great one.
Have you, Rockstar? I heard a song I'd never heard the other day that I thought of you. I thought it might be a good song. Have you ever heard the song Fiddler's Green?
No. Who's that by?
I'm gonna.
If it's new, I don't hear. Like,
no. I think
bubble.
it's old. I think it's a Irish group. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Fiddler's Gold?
Fiddler's Green.
Oh
no, Fiddler's Gold actually sounds better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up, Rockstar. But Fiddler's Green, it's kind of a sad song.
It's just an Irish song. It's not really a artist.
Tragically Hip is the song I heard. Is the group I heard do it. Go listen to Tragically Hip, Fiddler's Green. It's gonna be a sad song, but it's gonna be one of those like Dunaway likes. You can slow it down and do what you just did with Fiddler's Gold.
Amp it up.
Yeah,
amp it up.
And he is our rock star, and he's got his hat on today. If you'll see that, we got a big deal going on. Buy one, get one 50% off. Make sure I get this right, Lunsford. Buy one, get one 50% off if you use the promo code Black Friday 2023. Is that right? Black Friday 2023?
So I buy anything in the store and I get 50% off another item?
That's right. Buy one and then you get one 50% off. Free shipment, orders over $100. Is that correct as well, Lunsford? A lot of head nods back there. Black Friday 2023.
I'd buy a big item. I'd buy a hoodie like you've got on, bro.
I got the military hoodie.
Yeah, Army Navy coming up a week from Saturday.
I think we should all wear these.
I
2
like
weeks from
the,
Saturday.
all the NFL staff had it on this past weekend. I like the Rams.
Yeah, I was not a big fan of the Under Armour thing that Auburn wore on Veterans Day.
I liked it better than most of the stuff the NFL coaches were wearing.
I did not. I like the NFL stuff better.
It was okay last night because the coaches, it was raining, so it was wet. But in dry games, it looked like people were perspiring a lot on the sidelines.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the one that the Auburn staff wore from Under Armour on Veterans Day. I thought that one was, if I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was a little tacky.
Later in the show, we'll show you Army Navy uniforms. They do such a great job of the unveil. I watched the Navy unveil last night, the video. I watched it 3 times all the way through and got chills. It was amazing. They're saluting the submarines, the people that serve the silent.
It's hard to believe we're going to be down there 3 weeks.
Floribama, yeah.
2
weeks.
Probably need
Saturday,
to reach out to our man Steve Powers.
Well, probably so.
Wait, they don't know we're coming?
No, they do. I mean, Paul Register was up here last week. He reached out to Steve, so they know we're coming.
Yeah. Looking forward to being back down with some of the great American soldiers and veterans at Floribama coming up in December. But we got rivalry week to get to first. But let's start first with what we saw last night as we jump into that. Brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. We'll get into Monday Night Football.
Great deal going on right now. All you got to do is call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to schedule you a hassle-free consultation. Nothing to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. And how about this? If you get the consultation, you get the procedure done by New Year's Eve, you're going to save big. It's a next round special. Make sure you mention the next round when you call 205-969-8100. Online, michelsonlaservision.com.
Okay, now listen, none of you really care. But if you're wondering, a money line is where you forget the odds and you just bet on a team to win outright.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Somebody had Eagles money line last night, and it was an exciting game. Thank God that
this
Kansas
is going to end bad for
It
this.
really is.
I mean, every show starts with him gambling.
I know. Seriously, Dunaway.
Thank God that the Chiefs receivers cannot catch a
You
cold.
know, you can bet tennis. Tennis, snooker, there are things you can bet like 24/7.
There's basketball every day.
You can play online poker.
No, but seriously, when I log
I
on to mybookie.ag, it's sports from all over the world at mybookie.ag. It's crazy.
Now, I lost the money line yesterday in Texas basketball.
Really?
But
I can't believe you played them. I had a plus 6.5. But
Eagles made up for it quite a bit.
boy, Texas cut it to 4 late.
Yeah.
I was at our friend's walk-ons watching that one.
Yeah.
And, UConn has won 22 consecutive non-conference games by double digits.
That's a good program, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's start with football, and we'll work our way to basketball. So the Eagles end up winning this game last night. What do you make of the Chiefs' receivers?
They're not good.
Yeah, look, they've dropped 9% of their passes this year. That is.
Now, I've seen 26 as the number that leads the league, but it sounds more damning when you say 9%.
Well, it's the most in, I think, 15 years.
Yeah.
Through 10 games. Yeah, 9%
So they're
of their
dropping
passes.
1 out of every 10 passes.
Yeah. And look,
Think about that for a
they're
second.
professionals.
I know.
well, it showed Sky Moore had the bad drop against Denver. They could have won that game. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling last night.
Was that a big drop?
That was a beautiful throw.
Oh.
Now, I'm sitting there. I've got the Eagles plus 2.5. And I thought the game was over at that point.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
ball in the air. You're like, well, okay.
it's a beautiful throw.
I had the Eagles' money line. It was going to devastate me.
Yeah, and I didn't think either team played good. It was a sloppy game.
Yeah.
But the Eagles get out of there with a win. Jason Kelsey said it after the game. It was his first win against former head coach and against little brother. And he was like, I wish we were more dominant. Look, the Eagles are 9-1.
Yep. Best team in the NFL, and they showed it last night. I mean, to go on the road,
I can't deny that based on record,
you really can't.
but they don't look like the best
They
team.
don't,
Yeah.
but give me a team that you would feel really good about going against the Eagles,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this: the things they do. I mean, they're physical on the offensive line.
They don't make mistakes.
They don't make a ton of mistakes, and their receivers don't drop balls. I mean, that pass from Jalen Hurts that he dropped in, that 41-yarder to Devontae Smith, he makes it look easy, but that catch is not an easy catch to make, and it was well defended. They have beaten now Kansas City, Dallas, and Miami.
Yeah.
That's who the Eagles have beaten in this run to get to 9-1. Their only loss, Zach Wilson and the New York Jets.
Yeah, very strange. And
They
that
should
was
be unbeaten.
That was a flukish game at the end. If you watch that game, a game that Philadelphia, should have won.
Zach Wilson, now the third-team quarterback for the Jets. By the
right.
way,
He's
that's who
done,
they
right?
lost to. Yeah.
Officially
By the
done.
way, that's a statement when you put him as the emergency
I
quarterback.
thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you moved Trevor Siemian up to the backup. I mean, you're just kicking Zach Wilson right in the
right.
in the balls. Aren't you?
Philadelphia did something that's hard to do last night. So Jalen Hurts took 5 sacks, and they ran 20 less offensive plays on the road in Arrowhead and won that game.
I think it was, 253 yards of offense is all Philadelphia had, something like that.
Well,
I read.
they had 238 total yards, but they only ran
that's what it
54 plays.
238 total yards.
It is hard to win a football game when you run 54 plays, especially against Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out for them though, and the Eagles win. Chiefs will be fine. They'll wake up today and be okay. But the Eagles, that was a big one for them because if it was to come to the Super Bowl again, at some point you needed to beat them. Pretty neat that Andy Reid, and they mention this every time these two teams play, is the all-time winningest coach in both those franchises' history.
It's
and
wild.
Those are good franchises.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the Buccaneers and somebody.
Well, he was in 5 AFC championship games or NFC championship games in
4
Philadelphia.
straight.
4 straight.
Yeah, 4 straight, and got to the one Super Bowl, and they had a lead late against the New England Patriots. That's that game I walked out of in Jacksonville when Deion Branch was the MVP.
Terrell Owens wasn't healthy in that one, right? That was the big difference.
Remember, he came back from the broken leg, and he played his ass off. I think he had 10 grabs.
Yeah, played as hard as he could.
And that was the one where
wasn't-
Donovan McNabb supposedly
Threw up.
Yeah.
Stomach virus, yeah.
Wow.
Hungover.
That's what.
Whatever.
No, they were saying nerves.
Nerves. Okay.
That's what some of his former teammates said. He was so
That's
nervous
what
he
they
threw
said.
up.
And
Yeah.
I find that kind of hard to believe. Donovan McNabb was a guy that we forget won Big East championships, played 2 ways at Syracuse, was in a bunch of massive games for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. All right. That's the NFL. Tonight's Maction, couple of games. I think Eastern Michigan's trying to get bowl eligible. LT may have a play there. A lot of great basketball going on. We'll talk about that in just a second. after LT tells us about our friends right there at Odie's.
Odie's Tavern tomorrow night. We'll have a little Odie's team trivia the night before Thanksgiving. One of the more fun nights out at Odie's. Of course, live music is going to be after us at trivia tomorrow night. Live music, both Homewood and Crestline locations. Wednesday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy incredible food from Rodney Davis. 2 locations now of Odie's Tavern, the original in Crestline and now in Homewood.
Woo! I mean, 2 good ones tonight. We'll talk about what happened last night, but that sets up today. But tonight, 7 o'clock ESPN, number 2 Purdue, number 7 Tennessee. Tennessee had their orange classic uniforms on last night. Just a good-looking basketball. And Purdue is good. Zach Edey, unbelievable again last night. 2 versus 7 tonight. And then after that, in the Maui Invitational, 1 versus 4, Kansas and Marquette. Now, these games mean very little when it comes to the end of the year. But to sit here in back-to-back games tonight on ESPN out in Paradise in Hawaii to go Purdue, Tennessee, and then Kansas, Marquette, that's high-quality basketball.
Do you know anybody that's ever been to the Maui Invitational? I've talked to somebody that has been, and they said it is incredible because they said, I know the gym looks small on TV, but trust me, ESPN makes it look way bigger than it actually is.
Oh, so it's actually smaller than
yeah,
it is.
like
they're playing in a bigger arena because of the fires and everything earlier.
Okay, I did not realize that. But the arena they normally play in, he said, you're right on top of the action. I mean, he said you feel like you can reach out and touch Bill Self or John Calipari or
it's basically a high school.
Yeah, I mean, Chaminade was the university they used to play it at, and it was a glorified high school gym.
And he's like, and you've got all these, you just got a small group of Kentucky fans, small group of Kansas fans. He's like, it's an amazing event. They just happened to be down there on vacation, and he went. Thanksgiving vacation, and he went, and he told me, he was like, I would literally pay the money just to go back to the tournament and not even worry about the vacation.
I used to be a huge college basketball fan, but if I was in Hawaii, I've never been before, I don't think I would stop by a basketball game. Now, you do have 2 top 4 teams tonight. You mentioned Kansas and Marquette, and Purdue only a 2.5-point favorite against the Vols.
Yeah. Maybe a Lance's light play on that one.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Had Purdue last night against Gonzaga.
God, it does seem like this is the time of year you would go Purdue over Tennessee, but for some reason when you said that, the landmine hat I'm wearing, I just was like, oh, I like Tennessee. I almost spit it out, but I'm gonna hold.
Let's think through the show, Jim.
I'm gonna hold my water there. Last night, Purdue beat the Zags, and Tennessee got a good win over Syracuse last night. Kansas and Marquette tonight as well. Auburn is in action. Alabama A&M and Auburn tonight, where Auburn's a 30.5-point favorite in that one at home at mybookie.ag. UAB's on the road at Middle Tennessee tonight, where MTSU is a 1.5-point favorite of that one tonight on the road there. Wisconsin beat Virginia yesterday. Kentucky had to go to overtime to beat St. Joe's last night in a little basketball news. And you mentioned UConn and Texas. UConn is in the mix of doing something crazy. They beat Texas 81-71, keeps the streak alive of 22 straight out-of-conference games where they've won by double digits.
Double digits?
Double-digit out-of-conference wins.
Yeah. You told me, 20 straight?
No, I said 22 straight double digits.
Oh, I didn't hear the double-digit part. Yeah, so I missed that part the first time, so thank you for repeating it, because I thought it was just wins. I didn't know it was double digits.
Double digits. And ESPN stats have been they've been combing over the records. The best they can find in the last 40 years is North Carolina at 23 straight double-digit wins. So does that impress you guys? That's
domination.
They usually play a pretty good schedule. Now, does this count the NCAA tournament? Or no, this is just regular season.
It's got to be regular season.
Yeah, because they didn't run through the tournament last year all with double digits.
Oh, I think they did.
Did they?
Yeah, I think that counts tournament.
Holy
crap. I got to go back and look.
That's
You'll
even
be
more
shocked
impressive.
my computer's not working right now.
I'll take the ball here. What this one get a good year maybe?
What, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, not even.
Not even a year. Yeah. We didn't get a year out of this one.
Yeah. And I'm sure people think that you can check my search history. I don't even take it home.
It does. It stays up here. That's true. I see it.
I haven't spilled anything on it. I hadn't thrown it.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Well, go ahead and everyone's commenting during the sports code. I hate that we always have to address when we're dressed up.
This used to be a regular thing on radio.
When nobody could see you.
Unfortunately, one of my good friends, high school friends, passed away about a month ago. We're having a memorial today, so I'm going to be bailing early. I don't dress up much anymore.
Yeah, none of us do up here, which is why it dominates the chat room. So that's what LT has going on a little bit later on today. It's football, of course, the rivalry weekend coming up as we approach Thanksgiving. I tell you all the time, we're here Wednesday. We're not here Thursday, but we're back on Friday with some expanded stuff coming up on Friday. More on that coming up a little bit later on. One more thing to get to in this segment, including Jim Harbaugh, cut number 6, Rockstar, if you can pull up Jim Harbaugh. Let me tell you about our friends at Wayne's as we get ready to jump into football. By the way, later, Jalen Milroe, Alabama's quarterback, with us at 9:45, Clay at 10, and then we'll get to our upset alert at 10:20-ish before LT hits the doors. And then Dan Orlovsky will join us at 11:45 a little bit later on today. The show being brought to you by our friends at Wayne's. As it cools down outside, you know, those pesky mice and other rodents outside may want to come in and find a little heat in your garage or somewhere else, maybe your attic or something. Keep them out with our friends at Wayne's. All you have to do is call Wayne's at 866-WAYNES-1, 866-WAYNES-1. Gift yourself a safe and pest-free home this holiday season. And because we're celebrating 50 years of Wayne's wonderful service, you get $50 off any reoccurring service with Wayne's. $50 off the reoccurring services if you call them up at 866-WAYNES-1 and mention the next round, or just go to callwaynes.com. Callwaynes.com, $50 off the reoccurring service this holiday season with our friends at Wayne's. All right, Michigan and Ohio State. We can't talk about this game enough.
No.
It is such a huge game. Here's Jim Harbaugh getting ready for Michigan and Ohio State, the battle of two of the best teams in the country. Again,
Jim, this rivalry has always been heated, of course. It seems like there's always been a fair level of respect between the coaches. It's hard to determine what that is right now. What would you say is your respect level for Ryan Day and their staff?
It's all about our preparation for Ohio. The days, the minutes, the hours, everything leading up to this game. That's where our focus is. Preparing ourselves and planning, gonna practice and then execute. So, anything else is irrelevant, when you get into this kind of big game week.
He's so awkward.
He is, but that what he didn't say there was.
I hate Ryan Day. Is what he didn't say.
Yeah, but that's what he was indicating because yesterday Hugh Freeze and Nick Saban, very complimentary of each other in the Alabama-Auburn game. Lane Kiffin was defending Zach Arnett earlier this year about his firing. There's no love lost between Mississippi and Mississippi State. By him not just jumping in and saying, "Listen, man, Ryan Day is he does a good job with his program," things like that. This guy has no respect for Ryan Day, and we know Ryan Day has no respect for Jim Harbaugh.
No, and some of this, too, I think, has been heated up by the insinuation that Ohio State has been right in the middle of this.
That is the upside-down exclamation point, absolutely.
You think about what Harbaugh has done to Ryan Day's career so far. Ryan Day has been unbelievable.
That's right.
And, if it wasn't for him getting conservative last year against Georgia, they've got a national championship. But, really, his kryptonite has been Michigan the last couple of years.
And to Brown's point, though, it does look like Ryan Day has jumped into some non-football mode to try, at least some folks at Ohio State seem to have gone non-football mode to try to take Harbaugh down.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about that, and you can tell just by listening to that. He doesn't want to say something that is going to stoke a fire, but he's also not going to stand there and say nice things about Nate Oates. I just read a tweet about Nate Oates, so I said that about Ryan Day. My brain works in a weird way, Jimmy.
I'm telling you make fun of me, but I'm 10 years ahead of you, and I do things like that, and you're like, Dunaway, what do you mean?
I literally just looked down and saw a tweet about Nate Oates, so I said that. But and I don't know that Jim Harbaugh was going to say anything nice about Nate Oates either, but he certainly wasn't about Ryan Day.
This is usually when you say, "Don't worry, Ryan. We'll roll you out and let you put the headgear on later at the end of the show."
Well, look, how long has Jim Harbaugh has hated this team for 40 years,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
He started two games against them as a starting quarterback. Do you know what his record was against Ohio State?
How many?
He was 2-0.
This rivalry, I love the Iron Bowl, and I think it's a better rivalry than Ohio State-Michigan. I do. Never been to Ohio State, Michigan. A lot of those people never been to an Iron Bowl.
Yeah, in-state, different.
Yeah, in-state does feel different. I agree with you completely. That's a border war, Ohio State and Michigan. But that rivalry has more of a, and I know people aren't going to believe this because you've lived here, but, I mean, this is the same game where Woody Hayes scored late and went for 2. And they asked him in the postgame why he went for 2, and he said, because I couldn't go for 3. I mean, it is that level.
It's the stuff that college football makes college football.
It does.
You know?
It does.
And they
had a period in there, I think they called it the 10-year war, where he and Schembechler were at each other's throat. And that is a nasty rivalry right there. It's had fight. Like, I've never seen a fight at the Iron Bowl among players. I guess I have among fans.
Oh, I've seen a bunch with fans.
Yeah, but you've never seen players get in a fight at the Iron Bowl. Not
no,
one time.
No, there's a lot of respect.
In fact, I don't like see the chippy personal fouls like you used to get in Florida State and Miami, Florida State.
I think the chippiest rivalry on field is the Egg Bowl.
I agree with that.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
But I think in the stands it could be the Iron Bowl. You know, it's amazing. Jim Harbaugh's, like, I don't think his persona has changed at all, the perception. But on field, 2 years ago, we were talking about him like James Franklin.
Yeah.
Coming into this game, you know what he was? Against top 10 teams 2 years ago. He was 2-13 against top 10 teams. And now he's won back-to-back games against Ohio State, and the narrative has completely changed.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rivalry where I was on campus this summer at Ohio State, and every M on a building has the red X through it.
Yeah.
Every M. There's not an M like, the old buildings, the McCullough Center or whatever, red X through the M.
I guarantee you Michigan would never do that on campus.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I would tell you that Chad, he's exactly right. Him saying Ohio.
Oh, that was 100%.
Yeah, do that instantly. And in Columbus, they never say the word Michigan. It's always the school up north.
School up north. And the only coach in the Iron Bowl I can remember doing something petty like that was Dennis Franchione.
Yeah.
He called him the school down the road, I think is what he called him.
Yeah.
And that's the only Nick Saban. You can say all you want about Nick Saban. Auburn fans hate him or whatever. He has never been anything but respectful to the Auburn coach.
Well, Tuberville doing the one for the thumb or whatever.
Yeah, he
right?
did the one for the thumb.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they were winning the games at that point. I mean, he was just celebrating wins.
Right.
But, I mean, I know Auburn fans hate Nick Saban, and the Auburn coaches have changed, but they've all been this way too. Gus was never anything but respectful. I mean, there's always been this element of respect between the coaches. They may hate one another, but they don't let it show. That rivalry, it shows.
Yeah, it really does, and it'll be a good one this week. On the field, we get a college football ranking tonight. In your head, who's ahead of each other in this one? Forget winning the game right now, what they've done this year.
Yeah, Georgia's going to be one.
Yeah, but I'm talking Michigan and Ohio State. Who do you put?
Ohio State. They're going to be in front of them.
They got better wins.
So Ohio State's got better wins. So right now in your head, Ohio State's ahead of Michigan.
Well,
do you feel that way on the field, though?
No, I don't.
I do now. I didn't going into the last couple of weeks, but I do now.
Yeah.
I just think either J.J. McCarthy is injured, we don't know it, or they're trying to hide J.J. McCarthy. I just feel like they call plays around their quarterback, and I don't think Kyle McCord is all that great, but I don't see Ohio State trying to hide him. They still use him.
Yeah, the one flip we know, Washington will be in front of Florida State.
Yeah, and as I said yesterday, that was going to happen without the Jordan Travis injury. When we come back, one of our longtime contributors, Joel Klatt, ranked his top 8 yesterday. And I will tell you where he has Florida State when we come back. And also we'll jump in to Lincoln Riley's future at USC. He's talking about that and a lot more as we get ready for the rivalry weekend coming up. His regular season is over with. The show being brought to you by our friends at Johnson RV Center, johnsonrvcenter.com. Brownie, take us to break here, and we'll continue the football conversation on the other side.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you can find Johnston RV Center. They were up at the Forest River Expo, and that's where you go to pick out all the new floor plans for all the new great vehicles that will be coming in, the new great RVs that are coming in. And they went up there and they said, we love these, we love those, we love those. And they're all on their way. But here's the thing is they got to make room for them. So the Call of Fall is going on right now. There's still time to go see America as the leaves are changing in an RV from Johnston RV Center. In fact, Fifth Wheels discounted more than $50,000. Travel trailers starting at just $179 a month with approved credit. That's what you get at Johnston RV Center. And always their warranty, RV warranty forever, is a lifetime warranty on anything new or under 2 years of age used at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com. rvcenter.com.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender. The next round golf cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of peace of mind with a credit card from Legacy Credit Union. Why risk shopping with cash when you can enjoy the safety and convenience of shopping with their contactless credit card? With a Legacy credit card, you can enjoy incredible perks like rates as low as 8.9% APR, no annual fees, and no balance transfer fees. But that's not all. Earn fantastic rewards for travel and merchandise through Scoreboard Rewards. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com to make your holiday shopping not just safer, but smarter. APR and annual percentage rates. Certain restrictions may apply. Subject to approval. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
All right, rolling on here, getting ready for another fun week. Again, no Bud Light game night. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. No Bud Light game night this week because it falls on the Thursday night. We do Thanksgiving, so we'll be back with you next Thursday before we head to Atlanta for SEC Championship. And we'll tell you where we are on Friday and Saturday morning in Atlanta next week as well as we get ready for the SEC Championship coverage over there. So for us, Iron Bowl Friday, as we always do, we're here live with you. Saturday morning, we'll be down in Auburn. We'll let you know the location on Friday where you can come hang out with us, maybe if you're there early before the 2:30 kick of the Iron Bowl. Then the next week, Thursday night, Bud Light game night. Friday in Atlanta, Saturday in Atlanta for the SEC Championship. And then the following week, we're down at the Floribama for Friday and Saturday shows for Army and Navy. Looking forward to that coming up. Hey, the Birmingham Squadron in action tonight. Little basketball, pro basketball in town. And the Squadron, one of the best G League teams right now. A 7 o'clock tip against Texas tonight. You get a chance to go down to Legacy Arena. You can get the tickets right there at the gate, whether it's one, a single, a two, or a group tickets. It's all available at the gate for you tonight with the Legacy Arena for the Birmingham Squadron. Get details on their website. Tonight's Decades Night, celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, so a lot of music and entertainment during timeouts, pregame, and halftime as they go Decades Night. celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip-hop tonight. It's the Birmingham Squadron in action, the farm team, if you will, the up-and-coming stars of the New Orleans Pelicans, who are off to a good start as well. All that tonight, Legacy Arena, 7 o'clock, with a tip for the Birmingham Squadron. All right, let's talk a little bit about Lincoln Riley, if I can, for a second. Do you guys remember, it wasn't Joe Rogan. Who was the Rogan guy that...
Fred Rogan, right?
Fred Rogan, yeah. Rogan's Heroes.
Yeah,
when I was
spelled
a kid.
differently, R-O-G-G-I-N. I think he was a longtime sportscaster out there.
Yeah,
right?
That's did syndication. Yeah. One of the first nationally syndicated guy he originated out of L.A.
That's right, and he did wear a tuxedo, and he would do Rogan's Heroes on that would air locally, syndicated throughout the country. He still does sports talk radio. Rockstar Gimme Cut 8. He still does sports talk radio out in Los Angeles with Rodney Peete, former USC quarterback.
I did not know Pete was doing that.
Yeah, and they asked this question on their show, and Rogan's very upfront. He doesn't think Lincoln Riley's the guy for the job at USC. Listen in to yesterday.
I think coming here, he has been exposed. And here's how I mean that. First, he's really good for Norman, Oklahoma, but he's not ready for this. He's not adept at this. He's not polished enough for this. He's a good college football coach for there. But in year 2, we learned that he's not ready for this.
It's sad because it feels like we've gone from okay to worse. You know, last year may have been all smoke and mirrors. All those close games we ended up winning. It was great, and it was a great run, a great start, but we didn't improve on that. We got worse. You know, we gave up more. The defense gave up more yards this year than any U.S. team in history.
Yeah. USC team.
USC team.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. I kind of fall in the middle here. Here's the thing. Lincoln Riley, in his 7 years as a head coach, this is the first time he's ever lost 3 or more games in a regular season. And the defense last year was bad at the end of the year against Utah and Tulane. They weren't horrific the entire year. They were pretty much horrific the entire year. The difference last year in going 11-1 and 7-5 this year was you were plus 21 in turnovers. That's why you won those close games. You were plus 1 in turnovers this year.
Yeah, I guess my question is, what Rogan was saying, he's good for there.
Yeah, who do they think they are?
He's not good for here.
Who did USC think they are? Well, Oklahoma is a far better program than USC right now. I don't get that.
Well, where they have been, yeah, I'll give you that. Where they have
been.
The
last 20 years, Oklahoma's been, USC's had moments, but consistently for 20 years under Stoops and Riley, Oklahoma was a really good football program.
And, I was only in Norman for a week, but I saw how the media covers that team, and that's a passionate fan base. And there's as much media coverage in Norman as there is in L.A. You guys have seen the pop-up that we've got that we take around the remotes. That's what Lincoln Riley is standing in front of for his press conferences.
Yeah, but I think it may be Rogan talking about just the Southern California, L.A. style. And
maybe that's
the swagger you got to have to be the head coach of Southern California.
Well, Clay Helton didn't have that.
No.
Clay Helton was truly
but you ran
out
him
of his
out.
league.
Y'all ran him out.
Who have you had as a head coach that has that? Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll.
I think the list is that, right? Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was
John McKay.
John Robinson. Those guys had success, no doubt.
Who was it
Paul Hackett?
Paul Hackett.
Was awful.
Are you kidding me? That was the USC head coach?
USC's had some, like most schools, have had some bad coaches. I don't think this is one of them. I think we will know. Next year is pivotal because hopefully this was a learning experience. We've seen coaches typically not in year 2, typically it's year 1.
Well, that's my question. Does Lincoln Riley, in any shape, form, or fashion, enter next year on a hot seat?
No. We don't even know the details of the contract. We saw this massive buyout. Trust me, USC is committed to football. They're not as committed as Texas A&M, and you saw how long it took for them to finally pull the trigger on Jimbo Fisher.
Here's what I will say, though. The weird thing for USC is, for the first time in their life, they're going to be in a conference where they're not the alpha. They have never been in that situation.
You're right.
USC was the alpha of the Pac-12 from the day the Pac-12 signed the charter agreement.
And you're saying Ohio State and Michigan will be ahead of USC. Yes.
Yeah, I think they'll be third in the pecking order. I think they'll immediately be in front of Penn State. But next year is a pivotal year. You went through the schedule yesterday, and if they can survive September, I think this team can be really good. Now, we don't know how good Malachi Nelson's going to be at quarterback. I mean, only taking a couple of snaps.
Yeah.
He's not going to be Caleb Williams, I'll tell you that. You're going to have to get better defensively.
I guess I misinterpreted Fred Rogan. I thought Fred Rogan was basically saying, you wanted Oklahoma, but this is USC. And I'm like, Oklahoma's a better program.
I think it was more culture.
Maybe it was culture, but Oklahoma fans care a heck of a lot more than USC fans
They
care.
do. But also, I mean, Lincoln took over Bob Stoops' machine, and Lincoln Riley's trying to build a machine at USC that has had moments. It's been in recent years. It hasn't been that consistent that Lincoln took over in Norman.
Well,
Oklahoma.
you know what? He took year one over. If they wouldn't have squib kicked to Georgia to end that half, I think they win that game.
Yeah, they're probably in the championship.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so that's one of those things he'll carry. But this is still a guy that's been to 3 college football playoffs. He's coached, I think, in 5 conference championship games. He's had 3 Heisman Trophy winners. I am not ready to shut the door on Lincoln Riley. I still think he's a good football coach. I told you guys yesterday I wouldn't put him in my top 10 right now based on this year. But as a USC fan, I'm happy with him being the guy going into next year. Now, if you have another 7-5, 8-4, you got to take a long, hard look at this.
A quick, just for your brain.
Okay,
here.
please.
Ole Miss, USC. Who's ahead in the 24/7 team rankings in recruiting
Oh,
right
my
now?
guess would be Ole Miss.
It's USC, but
Okay,
only
well,
by
why
two.
did you ask that?
But only by 2 spots.
Okay, don't bait me in on a question like that, Jim.
Okay.
It better be USC.
Well, I mean, but it's only by 2 spots.
USC and Auburn. Who's ahead right now?
I would guess USC. Hugh Freeze he's climbing out. Dang it, Jim. Auburn.
It's Auburn by 1.
What are you trying to do?
So, wait,
to me?
where is USC?
USC is 18th
That's
in the
embarrassing.
country right now.
Do
in
USC
recruiting.
and Old Dominion.
18th in recruiting. It's Clemson, Auburn, USC, South Carolina, Ole Miss.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's
I
where
think
USC ranks
the
in recruiting
transfer
right now.
portal is so important, I think, for plucking 1 or 2 players, 1 or 2 key cogs.
Yeah.
And last year it was Mason Cobb and it was Barry Alexander, and those guys didn't necessarily work out on the defensive side of the ball. Lincoln Riley has got to put more of an emphasis on signing high school players.
I'm curious to see what the Big Ten does to this program. I think it could help it. It could. I don't want to say hurt it, but it just could be a different program in the Big Ten. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's already a national brand.
Who, USC?
Yeah,
I agree.
But so, getting into the Midwest recruiting, I mean, they can recruit from anywhere. But the problem has been the SEC schools and some Big Ten, but the SEC schools have been pulling the best players from California to the SEC in recent years. Just look at Alabama, Bryce Young and those guys, right?
Yeah.
Or from Hawaii, which used to be USC recruiting territory, Tua Tagovailoa to Tuscaloosa, not to USC. Bryce Young and Tua Tagovailoa are 2 quarterbacks that 1,000,000% would have been USC quarterbacks back in my day.
Oh, yeah.
They would have been USC quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
back in
Well,
my
Bryce
day.
Young was for a minute.
Yeah. Or Oregon, but now that, in a more recent time, they would have been Oregon quarterbacks or Washington quarterbacks.
But
they wouldn't have come all the way to the South.
Yeah. But so use Jalen Milroe, the next one. I mean, Texas guys, how often do Texas guys look out west? I think they all look east now.
They do.
I think they go Texas A&M, or an SEC school.
That's right.
Or Clemson,
So we'll see if that changes for USC. By the way, just as I have this pulled up, just as an observation before I tell you about our friends at Legacy, LSU's already got 25 commitments. National Signing Day one month away. They've got 25 commitments. They're 14th in recruiting with 25 verbals already. 14th for LSU.
3 stars?
For LSU. They do have quite a bit of 3 stars. Michigan 15, Clemson 16, Auburn, USC right there 14 to 18. And if you don't wonder how tough it is in the SEC, South Carolina is 19th in the country. Ole Miss is 20th in the country. Kentucky's 21st in the country. But you're sitting there like
9,
10, 11 in the SEC.
That's impressive, though, where those other schools are, where Stoops has them. Where is Florida right now?
Florida's top 5.
Yeah.
Nope. Yep, 5th. Alabama's 4th. Florida's 5th after a decommitment.
Napier better be there.
Yeah, that's what's saving his job.
That's what's going
right
to
now.
save his job. Yeah.
The show being brought to you by our friends at Legacy. The holiday season's here. And listen, there's a couple of things you already know about the holidays. One is there's a lot of people out trying to scam you, a lot of frauds. I don't know about you, but I got 4 texts this morning from basically telemarketing text now, which drives me crazy. That's why I always use the credit card when I'm out holiday shopping this time of year. The Legacy credit card is the best in the business. Rates as low as 8.9% APR, no annual fees, no balance transfer fees, and it makes shopping both safe and convenient this holiday season. Apply online in minutes at LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Also, some personal loans if you want to take a holiday travel vacation, get away with the family, or maybe you need to go see some family now that we're out moving about post-pandemic now. 3 years, you can do that with a personal loan from our friends at Legacy. Maybe some Christmas presents as well. Affordable payback plans and flexible terms, all at LegacyCreditUnion.com. LegacyCreditUnion.com, federally insured by the NCUA. Just thought it was very interesting that they, in Los Angeles on Sports Talk Radio, wondering about Lincoln Riley's future. He did say yesterday in his news conference, quote, I'm here for the peaks and the valleys, basically saying he's not going to the NFL, that he's staying at USC.
Yeah, it's if I, you look at this, how are both Washington and Oregon in their situations in year 2 with their head coach?
Yep.
And their head coach is not nearly as proven as Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, and they don't have the Trophy winner.
Well, yeah, and you got the Heisman Trophy winner. You've got the Alpha program, as you mentioned, to the Pac-12. And one of those two teams has got an excellent shot at getting to a college football playoff. And, USC might be in the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah. Y'all, by the way, I just noticed from the aerial shots on Saturday's game, y'all polished up that stadium as much as you can.
I know.
It still just looks so shoddy.
Yeah, I like it, though.
Go to a couple of games there.
That little end zone thing they've done for the band just looks...
Yeah, I like it on TV. No, on
TV it looks good.
Yeah. If you're going to cheer on Jalen Milroe, who joins us next, the Alabama quarterback this weekend at Jordan-Hare, or if you're going to cheer on the Auburn Tigers this weekend, you want to do it in the best gear. Pants Store is your game day headquarters. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick, and all the ladies' gear as well. Find any of the things you want Alabama and Auburn for the holidays in the 6 locations: Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. Or you can go online, pantstore.com, buy anything under the tree for the fan in your life at pantstore.com. And also buy our friends at Slice, LT. Good place to go buy for lunch today, our friends at Slice.
Yeah, get a slice and a salad. They've always got great daily specials there. 4 locations for you: the original in Lakeview, one in Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Local pizza, local ingredients. Get in today. Go see the Bajaya Brothers. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
What would happen if Santa came down your chimney and discovered fire damage in your home? What if he came down the chimney and discovered a wet floor? Santa's elves can't clean it up. You would have a lot of unhappy children Christmas morning. If that happens, contact DryTech Water Restoration immediately and make sure your children have a Merry Christmas. DryTech can clean up the mess and get in touch with your insurance company. Call DryTech 205-637-0143 and make sure your holidays are safe and happy. Happy holidays to all from DryTech Water Restoration.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
By the way, on this date in 1976, way back in the 1900s, Rocky debuted in the theaters. One of your favorite movies of all time.
It is. It's great. You know, little man brought it up the other day. He's like, I think they've got all the Rockies now on either HBO On Demand or Showtime On Demand. He said he was going back to watch them. Rocky was the best. A lot of people think it's boring.
The original Rocky?
Yeah.
No, you of course liked, what is it, Rocky IV, where he fights Drago.
As a kid, that was my second favorite.
That's so goofy now.
Yeah, let's get to Jalen Milroe. He's the Alabama quarterback. We'll talk to the Tide quarterback about the Iron Bowl coming up, being brought to you in part by our friends at Craneworks.
Yeah, Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks bring you Jalen Milroe on the show each week. The big guy says check out the big dog at Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks. He joins us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Welcome in, Jalen. Hope you're doing well today, my man. How are you?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Man, we're doing awesome. Interesting week. You know, you got Thanksgiving this week. You got the Iron Bowl after Thanksgiving. I don't think you guys are going to class this week, or classes are out. I'm not saying you're not going to class. I don't think so. It's kind of a different feeling week, I'm sure.
Oh, most definitely. You know, number one, you know, we got Thanksgiving going on this week, and then we got the Iron Bowl this week. So we got, you know, a lot of events going on this week. So it's a lot of excitement going on.
Well, you've been in a Jordan here before. I mean, go back to 2021. It was one of the more incredible drives in one of the more difficult atmospheres we've ever seen. I think it was 12 plays, 97 yards. Bryce Young, your Heisman Trophy winner, that kind of solidified the trophy for him. But what did you see from your perspective on the sidelines?
Yeah. I'll say that was an unbelievable experience. Number one, the rivalry, you know, what all goes on during the week. You know, all the, you know, excitement going on and stuff like that. But the game, though, that was a fourth quarter game. You know, when you talk about fourth quarter program, you talk about finish, you talk about grit, you talk about all these different qualities for a game. You know, it was all implemented during the game. But that last final drive, I will say, you know, that was, as a quarterback perspective, you know, that was something where you talk about mental toughness, you talk about leading guys. That's what I saw in Bryce Young, you know, and that was something to learn from, you know. And, you know, that game definitely was a battle. And then that was a great environment. So there's a lot of takeaways from that game.
Just to continue the tradition, because it's working so well right now, I'd like to take this moment to remind you that Lance and people like him doubted you earlier this year, right? No, I'm just saying, we got to keep the fire burning in Jalen Milroe, right?
Again, for the record,
I think he's
all
got
I
plenty of
did was
motivation.
said Alabama fans were measuring you against 4 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And by the way, you have turned the corner and you're playing like an elite football player. So I give you all the credit in the world. And if I can be your motivation, roll with it.
Yeah, let's see that. Look at that. Hey, fired up, right? Keep that fire burning. The doubters out there. What is it? Lank? Is it Lank?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lank. That's what it is.
Yeah. Right there in the bio, you can buy that T-shirt from Jalen Milroe there. Hey, so do you think it helps you that you experience the atmosphere already once on the sidelines, and now when you're in the huddle, this is not going to be a new experience for you, knowing what the insanity of their crowd is like?
Well, regardless, it's going to be a big challenge. You know, going on to the road and playing any opponent, it's gonna be hard. It's a challenge because, like we talk about here, it's like you have the guys on the sideline, you have a couple fans that come out, but it's them against us, you know. And so we have to embrace that challenge because no matter who we play, it's gonna be a big challenge. But especially with the rivalry that goes on this week, you know, it's gonna be tough. But I will say, you know, going in there freshman year, I do have an experience of the environment and what all goes into the game. So I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Jalen Milroe is with us. The Alabama quarterback joins us each week, courtesy of Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks. Like all the big dogs, he says, check out the big dog, Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks. So fans would look at it and say, oh, they lost to New Mexico State last week. That's a blowout coming up. You're a competitor. So I want to try to tap into the mind of a competitor like yourself that plays on an elite level. A lot of times when you lose a game like that maybe everybody thinks you should win, it forces you to kind of look in the mirror and say, what am I made of? I would imagine as an Alabama player, that's what you expect out of an Auburn team Saturday.
Yeah, you know, with our team, you know, there's no complacency at all. You know, we have a player-led group in the locker room, and we do a good job acknowledging that we're not a finished product, and we do all that it needs to be done to continuously work and continuously push through every situation. You know, we set goals that we want to accomplish, and they're all here. They're all reachable, you know. And when we have to focus on the task at hand is doing our job and going 1% and getting better, you know. And, you know, no matter what, you know, we're faced with many challenges, and we got to embrace them. And no matter what opponent it is, you know, we got to give our best shot. We got to play to our standard. So it's all about playing to our standard, playing to the Bama standard, and that's important for us.
After watching Auburn on tape, you described them as gritty. What do you mean by gritty?
Yeah, they play hard. They play hard. They play sound. They play all one together. You can tell that, you know, they harp on being physical. They harp on being a gritty team and competing, you know. And you can see it on tape. You can see it for all 11 guys on defense. And so we're going to have to bring it. They play with a lot of energy. So there's a lot of things that speak out when you watch them on tape.
I've got a different voice when I talk to my wife. It's my normal voice. This is my broadcasting voice. Do you have a different voice when you're calling out signals on the road to your teammates? Like, does your voice get deeper, and do you do you know, manlier sounds? What do you do to make people hear you out on the edges?
So it's funny you say that because, you know, when you're on the road, it's loud, so you got to raise your voice, you know. And so it'd be funny because my voice on the field is different from on the sideline, because you can actually like hear the person and the fan die down a little bit. So when I'm on the field, I got to raise my voice a little bit. So I go from a deep voice, Jalen, to my voice now. So it changed a little bit.
So it gets deeper on the field, is what you're saying.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Rockstar.
Blue, no, 32.
Rockstar was the one that used to have a. Who did you used to do, Rockstar? That
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
And Andrew Luck.
Green 18.
You know what's Patrick Mahomes?
I don't know. He got a unique voice.
180.
Yeah.
180. Hey, so you spit out touchdowns like Pez dispenser, and Dunaway was talking. We had Tyler Booker, one of your main guys, on yesterday, and he brought up Ty Simpson. And look, Ty doesn't have like a holster full of touchdowns, and for him to drop that one on the one, did you guys give him hell about that?
Well, it was funny because, like, all we know is how fast he was running. You know, we weren't worrying about the football, anything like that. You know, we saw him run. We saw him broke second level. So we like, all right, he to the crib. Like, he taking it to the house. So we like, okay, bet. Like, he finna score. We finna celebrate. You know what I'm saying? I'm running past the sideline. I had a conversation with somebody, and I see him, like, cross the plane. I was like, oh, dang. Like, oh, shoot, he finna score. And so, I'm pushing people out the way, trying to get to him. And, you know, I finally get to him, whatever, and we celebrate. And I see them reviewing the play. I'm like, what are we reviewing the play for? I don't know what's going on. I hope it wasn't no holding, no nothing like that. And then, you know, we saw what happened. It was like, dang. But my biggest takeaway, how fast we move. I ain't seen him run like that.
All right, so Thanksgiving is Thursday. What is a non-negotiable Thanksgiving food for you that it has to be part of the Thanksgiving meal?
I bet. Let's see. My mom makes really good mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
she does sweet potatoes, but she put marshmallows on top.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The way God intended it.
We call that sweet potato casserole. I don't know if that's what it really is, but
Yeah.
that's what we call it. Yeah, it's good.
And then she has like this honey glazed ham that's pretty good. That she has. And then you always gotta wash it down with a nice drink. I like sweet tea, so I'm gonna drink sweet tea this week.
Thataway. My man Jalen Milroe, that is getting after it right there.
It's pretty good.
Jalen, have a great Thanksgiving, man. We appreciate the time. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, buddy. Take care. Jalen Milroe with us each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He joins us courtesy of Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks. He's one of the big dogs in college football. He says check out the big dog, Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks.
Green 18. You're really good at that.
Green 18.
Green 18.
I'm not playing this year.
The show also being brought to you by Dr. B, getting LT's hair just right.
Yeah, for more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today. Make the call that I made, 205-319-0316. My hair has more than doubled in thickness since I first went to see Dr. B. I do 3 non-invasive treatments on the couch, 30 minutes each. That's all I'm doing every week. For more information, t3hair.net or call 205-319-0316.
Zach says ham, sweet potato, mac and cheese, and sweet tea. That's a good combination for Thanksgiving. But to me, I mean, that could be a meal anytime.
Yep.
If it doesn't have dressing, I mean, I love me some dressing, and I only eat it this Thanksgiving. I don't eat it another time.
I mean, I've never
year.
seen like a side. I've never been to a restaurant and they're like dressing is offered up. It is like Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas, that's it.
Now, when we first were in radio, you'll remember this place, I bet, the Anchorage in Homewood.
Yeah.
You remember the old Anchorage?
yeah.
And we used to go there for lunch a lot, and they did chicken and dressing at lunch.
I
And
never ate there.
Lance, it was phenomenal.
Oh, it really was good.
Yeah, such a good restaurant. It was just a little spot in Homewood called the Anchorage.
Yep. I did morning television for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Stephanie Walker, who you know, and Brooke Smith were on the morning show with me, and they didn't gain any weight. I gained like 100 pounds. Between that and the midday show, we'd go have breakfast at the Anchorage every day.
Oh, their chicken and dressing was phenomenal.
Oh, so good.
But that is
Back
one
in
of the few
day.
times you'll see dressing is like a chicken and dressing. I love dressing.
Are you guys sweet tea guys?
You know, I try not to drink calories. So if I do sweet tea, I do tea with Splenda in it.
I got a sweet tea this past weekend. It was like I've always said, you can't make it too sweet.
Yeah.
This was too sweet.
Yeah.
It was a local joint, and boy, it knocked my teeth out.
My mom and my grandmother back in the day would have challenged that to you.
I'll tell you guys the joint in Break, and I don't know if you've been there in a while, but boy, I was blown away with how sweet the tea was.
See, I only eat dressing during Thanksgiving, and I love it so much so that I will go to the New York Butcher Shop today, and I will go by and I will hopefully be able to get some dressing. If not, I'll try to get him to have me some tomorrow. And that will stay in Birmingham. I'll go to Mentone for Thanksgiving, see our Mystery Fifth Hour to see our Thanksgiving plans.
And how much you hype up that trip.
And then when I come home, I will have some dressing for the weekend. Off and on when I'm there throughout the Iron Bowl
So you just
weekend.
eat it with a spoon, you put it on a cracker?
I just eat it aside. I'll have some leftover ham I'll have. Maggie picked up a honey baked last night that'll stay here.
Try that turkey and dressing sandwich, man. I do it every year. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I think I
it
did
sounds
one year.
good.
No,
it is good.
White bread mayonnaise, right?
White bread, mayo, turkey, and dressing. Warmed. I warmed the turkey and dressing.
But see, I love the dressing so much, I hate to put it on the sandwich. I like it as a side.
I get you. It's just a different, you got like the white bread. I just do normal white bread, like just straight white bread, man.
Yeah.
No, I don't fancy it up.
Those are leftovers. Typically, the leftovers they'll get thrown away.
Yeah, right.
But those are leftovers I can eat on for a week.
Yeah, the egg bowl meal is almost as good as the Thanksgiving Day meal.
Yeah.
The egg bowl that night, the reheated, it's almost as good.
Yeah, I'm jealous of those. Tell us about New York Butcher Shop, LT, as we reach the top of the
Still
hour.
taking reservations for those turkeys. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, you've still got an opportunity to call our friend Jim. 2 locations of the New York Butcher Shop. The original in Cahaba Heights. There is one right there by us in Greystone. Stop in, pick up the finest steaks, of course. But this Thanksgiving, you can order the turkey. I'm doing the turnkey. I'm not dealing with any of the cooking. I'm just going to reheat it. Jim's doing it all for me. From the turkeys that are fresh, they can smoke or brine them. All the side dishes prepared in-house will feed 8 to 10 people. However, they do have smaller sizes that will feed 4 to 6. Don't forget about the desserts. I'm getting a pecan pie. I'm getting some of that banana bourbon nut bread. Fantastic stuff. Great wine selection to pair with your turkey or beef tender roast. Stop in today. Rare quality, well-done service, New York Butcher Shop.
And also our friends at Milo's, when you're out and about getting ready to shop, say on Black Friday, make sure you get that Milo's mobile app downloaded. Use the promo code NEXTROUND to get a free new loaded fry. Promo code NEXTROUND in the Milo's mobile app. It's available in your Apple and your Android store. Just search the word Milo's right there. Those loaded fries, the great chicken fingers, and so much more with our friends at Milo's.
Spittin' Lugs with ESPN's Tom Luganville and Lance Taylor weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino's 7 days of giveaways is going on now. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right, Birmingham Racecourse Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
What would happen if Santa came down your chimney and discovered fire damage in your home? What if he came down the chimney and discovered a wet floor? Santa's elves can't clean it up. You would have a lot of unhappy children Christmas morning. If that happens, contact DryTech Water Restoration immediately and make sure your children have a Merry Christmas. DryTech can clean up the mess and get in touch with your insurance company. Call DryTech 205-637-0143 and make sure your holidays are safe and happy. Happy holidays to all from DryTech Water Restoration. This holiday season, give the gift of peace and security to your home with $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control Services. As the weather cools down, stop mice, bed bugs, and rodents before they come in. Call 866-WAYNES-1 to gift yourself a safe and pest-free home. Sign up for any recurring service with Wayne's and save $50 off. Don't let mice and rats be uninvited guests to your holiday celebrations. Get a pest-free holiday and save $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control Services when you call 866-WAYNES-1.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The Next Round golf cart is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Part of the show today being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about Michelson.
They got a great deal going right now. If you get screened out and you get the procedure done by the first of the year, you're going to save big from the Next Round. Dr. Mort Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. I got the procedure done more than 20 years ago. Had the 2200 vision. Now I've got 2015 vision. Better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy for more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
All right. Clay Travis is with us, the founder of Outkick, Fox Sports, at Clay Travis on Twitter. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Clay? How are you?
Doing well. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well as well.
We're doing fantastic. Same to you. I know you've got a bit of a personal connection to Michigan, Ohio State. We played if you don't know, Clay's wife is from Michigan and went to the University of Michigan. So you followed that rivalry closely. We played a cut from Jim Harbaugh where he was asked about his relationship with Ryan Day, and he said a bunch of words to say, I do not like Ryan Day one bit. That rivalry, Clay, has always felt like, from the coaching and player perspective, to be far more personal than even an Iron Bowl or, an Egg Bowl or anything like that.
Isn't that what you want? One of the challenges I think that pro sports gets into is everybody makes so much money that, and I understand they all have the perspective, they want to win, but also it's like they're all co-CEOs who are super rich and have an incredible life. And it always kind of takes me back to eras before the guys, and not like I was around when guys really didn't make very much money, but sort of the bad boy era when it was clear the Pistons and the Bulls really disliked each other and still, even to this day, dislike each other. If I'm going to invest a lot in a rivalry, I want to believe that both sides of the rivalry really don't like each other, and that competition is not just for 3 hours on the field and then they high five and they're like, boy, can you believe we made $20 million this year? But that everybody out there is genuinely going at it, and I think that's certainly true with Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, I think these two programs, and I think it comes from the head coaches on down, genuinely dislike each other, and I think that makes for really riveting television. And there's a reason why Ohio State Michigan is going to be the most watched game in all of the college football regular season come Saturday. And by the way, good. I don't know if you guys have talked about this, but my buddy Mike Mulvihill, who's at Fox and a big part of their scheduling strategy and everything else, just tweeted out that this year's college football regular season is going to be the most watched ever. And I think that's a really good sign for college football as we sort of turn the corner and move into the playoff era. To me, college football is still underwatched. I mean, I look at the number of people who watch a major college football game, and it still pales in comparison to how many people would watch a Thursday night NFL game that's oftentimes not even that good of a matchup.
The numbers are so massive. One of the reasons you can pay a guy like Lincoln Riley $10 million a year. Fred Rogan and Rodney Peete do a show in L.A. We just played some sound from it. And Fred Rogan basically alludes to the fact that he thinks this job is too big, that it's kind of fish out of water for Lincoln Riley. Look, 7-5 in year two is horrific when you've got the reigning Heisman Trophy winner and when Washington and Oregon have opportunities to go to a college football playoff in year two under their coaches. What is your overall opinion right now of Lincoln Riley?
I don't think the job's too big for Lincoln Riley, and I understand people who live in big cities, kind of focus on things. I actually think there's more pressure on the Oklahoma head coach than there is on the USC head coach. And some people out there may say, "What in the world are you talking about?" USC,
and I agree with you, by the way.
Yeah, USC ranks where Lane Kiffin would be a really interesting person to talk about with this, because one reason Lane Kiffin went to USC was because he felt like he was way too much under the microscope at Tennessee. Now, obviously, Knoxville is way smaller than L.A., but Lane Kiffin or Lincoln Riley, it's not a shot at either one of them, is like the 700th most famous person in L.A. And even in the sports landscape, the Lakers, the Dodgers, and now two NFL teams, I would argue, are all above USC in the pecking order. I think if anything, USC and UCLA have to really kind of fight for attention in the college football marketplace. Now, I think, and this is an interesting debate, but I think they'll actually be helped by having all those Big Ten brands, because I think it'll put them in front of larger audiences than even historically they've been in front of. But I actually think the pressure and the attention and the attention is greater on Oklahoma's head football coach than it is on USC.
So you tell me, Florida State wins them all. Do you leave them out because of the Jordan Travis injury?
Oh, you're still fighting. Dunaway is still out here lobbying for Alabama ever since.
The path is clear for Alabama. They just have to win out. The SEC champion will not be left out.
I still think so. Here again, I will say, Michigan or Ohio State, I think it's fair to say, is going to be 13-0. Right? They're going to beat Iowa. Whoever wins this game would be a huge upset. So they'll be in. Washington, I thought they would lose a game in the regular season. Now I think they'll win the Apple Cup. I think they'll be 12-0, be an underdog, to be fair, against Oregon. But the pathway to Washington being undefeated is not particularly difficult at this point in time. And if Florida State wins out and if Texas wins out, I think Alabama will be in a tough spot, even if Alabama wins out at 12-1. Now, they are helped because Jordan Travis is injured, and that would turn into an epic battle royale of all time. And I think a large degree it'll be determined. There's a precedent here. You go back to 2014, and you look at how well that Ohio State played with Cardell Jones. They won 59-0. Remember that Ohio State team actually had a loss, unlike Florida State. Florida State, I think, is 6.5-point favorite over Florida, and also around a 5 or 6 point favorite now over Louisville. That line, both of those lines down 4 or 5 points since Jordan Travis got injured. So certainly Florida State is a lesser team. I think it's going to be hard for the committee to lead. If assuming Florida State plays decently and wins both those games, I think it would be virtually impossible to leave out 13-0 Florida State. I do. I think the battle will be nasty, and obviously, if Texas loses, that would make things way easier. If you end up in that scenario where you just take the 4 best champs, but I think that is if everybody keeps winning, and this is a season unlike kind of any other, where all of the top teams keep winning. We haven't ever really had that upset Saturday where everything gets recalibrated. And so if all the top teams keep winning, then I think we're trending towards a tough spot. Guys, I mean, I just watched Georgia play. Let's leave aside everything else. If Georgia is number 1 in the college football playoff rankings this week, as I think they will be, and then they beat Georgia Tech and they remain number 1, here's a question for you. If Alabama beats Georgia by 3, does that suddenly mean that Georgia's not one of the 4 best teams in college football?
Not at all.
It doesn't.
You got to put them in.
It doesn't, but that is the bind the committee finds themselves in, because nobody on that committee.
But don't you guys agree with me that the 2-time defending champion, who right now is going to finish 12-0, is going to win whatever it is, 29 games in a row, 38 regular season, 39, whatever the heck it is, regular season games in a row. If they are number 1 going into the SEC championship game and they lose a tough, hard-fought game to Alabama, I agree with you, by the way. I think Alabama would be then one of the 4 best teams. I don't see how Georgia goes from 1 to 5. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
me too. I agree.
Me too.
Yeah, that committee. If you're doing the 4 best teams, you've got to put Georgia in there,
because you go in with a predisposition that you've got to have as much geographical representation in this as you can have. There's nothing that says that in their rules or their bylaws, but you can't tell me that committee doesn't think that way. That they don't think, we can't.
This, to me, guys, is where now they're fortunate because next year you go to 12, and as you guys well know, we talked for like an hour over who gets left out of the NCAA tournament, and then everybody's like, okay, let's get our bracket.
Right.
Let's start picking who we're, if you're the 13th best team and you get left out, I think people will be like, oh, that sucks. I can't believe that insert team here got in, and and it'll last an hour, and then we'll be on to, okay, well, here's the 12-team bracket. Let's figure out how we think this is going to shake out, right? And it was tough when you went to, the 3rd best team got left out, the 5th best team getting left. But the challenge here is I don't see any way, again, assuming Georgia beats Georgia Tech, which I think they will on Saturday, I don't see any way that Georgia isn't stamping their playoff ticket with that win, regardless of what happens against Alabama, because Georgia would have finished the regular season as the best team in college football. Now, look, if Carson Beck tore his ACL and Alabama won, 42-3 over Georgia or something like that, then I would be like, okay, well, let's kind of reassess what we think of this Georgia Bulldog team, right? But what they did against Ole Miss, what they did against Tennessee, and what I think they're likely to do against Georgia Tech, they're rounding into shape at the right time. They're the two-time friggin' defending champs, and they haven't got – I just don't understand how one game would invalidate what we know to be true, which is they're one of the 4 best teams in college football.
Then you would make the same argument about Texas, Alabama, right?
Yeah, I think that, that's a more challenging situation, I think, because you do have to have some value on head-to-head.
Well,
I think it's
Yeah.
Hold on. But Georgia would be 12-0. I think if we all agree that Georgia's number 1 right now, I think it's a harder argument to make that Georgia loses one game and drops all the way down to 5, right?
That's right.
I think Alabama should be in, and I think Georgia should be in that scenario, because I think they both would have established themselves as top 4 teams. I think it gets harder when you go and start to factor in the head-to-head, because, I've been making this argument for a long time. If Alabama didn't play Texas, Alabama would be in the playoff, and I think Georgia would be in the playoff. If Alabama had played, Eastern Michigan or
If they had played Michigan's non-conference, Georgia would be 1, Alabama would be 2 right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the argument that SEC teams should play tough out-of-conference games. I've never really bought into. So you're right. Georgia would be 1, Alabama would be 2 right now, I think, probably. And both of them would be in no matter what happens in the SEC championship game, right? I think everybody would be saying that. So if Alabama were to beat Georgia, I'm not saying that I think Alabama and Georgia would have both established themselves as deserving of top 4 places. I don't know that they would both get in.
Clay, have a great Thanksgiving, man. Safe travels, and we always appreciate the time.
All right, appreciate you all. Thanks a lot.
All right, buddy, take care. Clay Travis with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Yeah, and being brought to you in part today by our friends at HydroLive. LT, tell us about HydroLive.
Yeah, again, if you can't make it to one of the great locations of HydroLive, wherever you are, they can actually send a nurse to your home or business. Go online, hydrolivetherapy.com. It's IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. They're open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Very important, you mentioned next round at checkout. You're going to get 20% off any of their great services. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at HydroLive Therapy. Again, for more information, hydrolivetherapy.com.
All right. Don't forget, the buy one, get one 50% off deal is underway in our store, nextround.store. Nextround.store. It's for Black Friday. Use the promo code Black Friday 2023. Black Friday 2023 to buy one, get one 50% off. Free shipment for orders over $100. Perfect for the holidays going on. Forrester, do you have anything on Army, Navy uniforms? If you've got anything at all. Here we go. This is the Navy.
Bad lighting, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I can't tell.
Yeah, this is it's their submarine. Go watch the video.
It's lit like a submarine.
Yeah, go watch the video.
It'd be really cool if they shot him out of a submarine wearing that.
Like a torpedo.
Here is the video. Yeah. It is Simber Deep from Navy football. The silent service. It is so good. It does have that alarm at the end.
Oh, does it really?
It is so good.
Yeah.
This is the whole video right here.
Das Boot.
I watched this thing so many times last night. So good. And then the Army, which will be in the lighter uniforms this year, going with the sand this year. They are the Rock of the Marine, or the Marne, excuse me. This is their dog face soldiers from the 3rd Infantry. So that'll be their uniforms this year.
Really cool how they honor, different divisions and things like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And again, man, if you have an opportunity, if you don't have anything to do that second weekend of December, come join us at the 4 Bama, because the division, I shouldn't call it division. No. The congregation,
United separation.
Yeah, of both the Army vets and the Naval vets, it comes together, and the trash talking, it's all respectful trash talking. But it's hard to describe how cool that atmosphere was.
It's amazing. I'll put it this way. You said the division. There's unity when they play the anthem at the start of the game. There's division for 3 hours, and then when they play the songs, the Navy song and the Army song, the Navy hymn and the Army song, there is complete unity, and everybody stands respectfully at attention. That is the coolest part of it all.
Yeah, and another thing, we don't respect our elders enough. I think we've talked about that before. Unfortunately, the older you get, the least people respect you. You will see like 90-year-old veterans there, and they get the utmost respect.
Yeah, but a lot of active service or some National Guardsmen as well.
Yeah, more in the Navy side because of the naval bases nearby there.
Absolutely.
But
we saw one kid do like 200 push-ups, didn't we?
Yeah, in a minute. I mean,
That's right.
he tore it up.
Beat me by a couple. I finished second in that one. All right, when we come back, we'll do our upset alert for this week, and we'll unveil the picks. Some shakeups in the standings, or is the Brown Bandits still in the lead? We'll find out when we come back. Show being brought to you by our friends at Bromberg's, LT.
Yeah, Bromberg, since 1836, family owned and operated. They are your diamond specialist. If you think about popping the question this holiday season, get into one of those two great locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. You can always shop online and check out that vast selection. Right now, go to brombergs.com.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
This hour brought to you by Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear, the perfect place for all your holiday shopping. We are easy to find just off of I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. Just look for the big red building.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Are you ready to make this holiday season one to remember? Legacy Credit Union is here to make your dreams come true with their lifestyle loans. Whether you need a little extra cash for gifts or you want to take that unforgettable holiday vacation, Legacy has the right loan for you. With affordable monthly payments, flexible terms, and absolutely no collateral required, Legacy Credit Union is your trusted partner for your stress-free holiday season. Apply in minutes. Go to LegacyCreditUnion.com to get the financial support you need to enjoy the holidays to the fullest. Again, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Some restrictions apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
The Next Round Golf Court is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
We're about to get to our upset alert here, and it's going to be brought to you today by our friends at Harbin's Outdoors, LT.
Yeah, my man Jeremy Harbin, just not only a great dude, but the incredible work. Dunaway, you peeked over the fence. I forgot who the guy was, and what was the show called? Home Improvement?
Wilson.
Yeah.
Hello, neighbor.
You pulled a Wilson and looked over the fence to check out what had going on in the backyard.
Back there, neighbor.
We got the fire pit. I mean, look, anything you want done, if you've got a vision, he can help you put it together. Custom fiberglass pools, landscaping, hardscaping. Harbin's does it all, from the install to the lighting, final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. It's beautiful work. You see it right there, Scotty showing it. You can also find him on Instagram at Harbins_outdoors. See it for yourself or call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718, and tell him the Next Round sent you.
The College Football Spotlight.
Sound the alarm. College football's upset alert.
Forrester, it's time to look at the standings. As the season winds down, the Brown Bandits stretched out the lead a little bit this past week.
That was a big win then.
Yeah, Brown Bandit got the...
Did y'all both have wins?
I had a cover. I got 5 points.
I had a straight-up win on a 6.5-point underdog.
Yeah, so you got 11.5.
Wow.
This thing's over.
Somehow
Good night, everybody.
It doesn't mean it's over if you go for a big enough...
If you had New Mexico State.
Well, you know what? I need to change my pick now. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, we got SEC championship next week, or the championship games. Maybe we can find some upsets who try to go back-to-back wins. But I was doing Jeopardy math, trying to stretch mine into a victory. This week, Miami, I think, Brian, can you check and see if Miami's on the road?
The Hurricanes?
They are.
They are?
I think they're in Boston.
They are. Chestnut Hill.
Well, I can't wait to watch that one.
What is it? It's warm in Miami.
Uh-huh.
It's cold in Boston.
This is the old Doug Flutie game.
It's dry in Miami.
Wet in Boston.
It's wet in Boston.
Yeah.
Miami's on the road.
Uh-huh.
Boston's at home.
Dolphins winning, Patriots losing.
Give me BC plus 9.5.
I like how you go big logo, tiny point spread.
Always. Well, what network is it on?
The network?
Yeah.
You usually put that on there, too.
You're not going to want to watch
I bet
it.
it's going to be CW. Yeah, but it's BC.
Damn, it is going to be Saturday, a low of 22, a high of 35.
You know who doesn't give a damn anymore? Miami after losses.
I would have to imagine.
Losses to Florida State and Louisville. BC plus the 9.5.
I mean, this is awful, but there you go. Can you make this out?
Hard sell. That's Kentucky, isn't it?
Okay.
That's a good looking logo.
There we go. Plus 6.5 against Louisville. I thought Louisville was going to blow it this past week. Louisville's a pretty good team, though. I mean, that was a fun game to watch against Miami. Miami couldn't pull it off. But I think Kentucky is yucky enough to just make this just a nasty, boring game, 11 o'clock. I wonder how up Louisville will be for this game. They've still got an outside shot at the college football playoff. A million things would have to happen. But I think Kentucky might be able to pull this one outright.
Oh, all of a sudden you're here.
What's up, fellas?
Brown Bandit's back.
What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing?
No hidden cameras, no hidden letters this week?
Nothing. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Happy Thanksgiving, Lance.
Happy Thanksgiving, Brown Bandit.
I watched the Mystery Fifth Hour, saw that Thanksgiving is your favorite holiday.
It is my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
Now, I don't get to have the celebration that this guy over here gets to have.
I watched the Mystery Fifth Hour, Dunaway. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. When you watch the Mystery Fifth Hour?
I saw you're more of a Christmas guy.
Yeah, I'm a summer guy.
You had a question, Rockstar, there over the punchline. What was that?
Do you wear that mask when you're watching?
I wear this mask. This is not a mask. I'm the Brown Bandit.
So what do you do when you sleep?
Is the Brown Bandit married?
The Brown Bandit never sleeps. Yep. The Brown Bandit is married. Miss Bandit.
Do you keep the mask on?
Miss Bandit is, she's abroad right now with all my winnings.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She's not a woman sometimes?
No, she's abroad.
Oh, abroad.
She's out of the United States.
I thought you meant very 1950s term.
No,
she's abroad.
No, she is abroad, but she's also abroad.
Does she wear a mask?
No, Miss Bandit does not wear a mask.
Okay.
Yeah, only I wear the mask because I'm the one stealing the money.
As far as you know.
Does she iron that mask for you?
She does. Isn't it nice and crisp?
Yeah, it really is.
Thank you.
You don't know what she wears when you're on the run from the federales.
That's right. And speaking of that, I am sorry I missed last week. Had a little issue, small issue, Rockstar with the federales. We got that cleared right up. Nothing a little UCLA win couldn't handle.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're back.
Yes.
They cleaned it up in less than a week.
Yeah, the Trojans let you down again, Lance.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the only time you've heard that sentence.
Quickly.
Yeah. So we're back, though. We're back in the win column. Aren't you excited?
I am. You keep saying that.
The board is so easy this week.
Somebody bumped the Brown Bandit. He's stuck right now.
The board is so easy this week that I'm going to let you guys pick the game.
Just spin the wheel?
Yep. In fact, I've got an envelope right here. Will you pass it over to Dunaway? Dunaway, if you'll just open the envelope, read the contents, you're going to tell me which group I'm going to pick from. You got to go to the glasses for drama. So envelope there for Dunaway. He's going to open the envelope. That's going to dictate if you could open the envelope and read the contents there, and that will dictate.
It's officially.
It's official Brown Bandit.
your seal.
Yeah,
you need to
it's
get
the
you
seal.
some wax.
Yeah, what's it say?
It
there?
says,
Give me the
we're all getting together to watch football on Thanksgiving. Don't tell Jim.
That was Lance's envelope. If you could pass this envelope to Jim, please, Lance. I accidentally gave him the wrong one. My apologies there.
Are you guys really doing that?
Disregard that.
Every
Jim.
year.
Jim, disregard that if you don't mind.
Now, you did get the memo for the Thanksgiving get-together.
It's supposed to go to Lance there. Jim will be on the road.
The Friendsgiving?
His Egg Foo Young Bowl.
Yep.
I did have a Friendsgiving last night. I walked in, and there was beer pong everywhere.
Oh, my God.
I know. I was like, what the hell's going on
Second
here?
level right there. What's it say there, Jim?
It's just one word.
What is the word, Jim?
Chaos.
Chaos.
Oh.
He wants one out of the chaos stack. Let me just see what I got down here, Jim.
Okay.
Ooh.
I got you one.
You got one out of the
Yeah,
chaos
I got
stack?
one out of chaos for you, Jimmy D.
Oh.
You want chaos? I'll give you a little chaos right here. We're going to go to Florida State, Florida, Jim. Well, it would be a little chaotic if Florida State lost, right? That would help some teams, would it not?
It would. I was hoping North Alabama would stick the landing last week.
They didn't. They were good early.
Yeah.
Yeah, good early. So one thing this Thanksgiving we got a second helping of is injured quarterbacks in this game. We got two of them. Number way down, though. I'm going to go with Max Brown. And much like history repeating itself, the Seminoles are going to show the Gators how to grow corn, and the Gators are going to steal their national championship hopes. Florida plus 6.5. It's my history repeating itself game of the year. Rockstar, the Gators, they're giving them in Gainesville 6.5 points.
You don't even need to put it on the damn board.
Rockstar, they're giving them 6.5 points.
You don't even need them.
Rockstar, much like salad and a Thanksgiving meal, do we need those points?
Hell no.
We do not need those points.
Puts lettuce in the garbage disposal.
Lettuce in the garbage disposal with Florida State's national championship hopes. The Gators plus the 6.5 win this game outright. We don't need them. It's my history repeating itself. Game of the year.
That's a really good Gator.
Oh, thank you, Lance.
That
Really
might be
is.
your best drawing of the year.
Really?
Yeah, you know, sometimes you get a little people when they draw the Gator, they get a little too elongated with the back left part of the head.
That thing is to scale. Hey,
thank you.
Did you beat Dunaway in today?
I did not. This was the Brown Bandit drew this in probably 10 minutes. Would you say 10 minutes?
I would say closer to 20.
Yeah,
but
Jim timed it at 20.
Double whatever you said.
Brown Bandit had it at 10. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice Gator. Gator's going to win that outright, too.
As Mrs. Bandit would tell you, you're not very good with time.
That's what Mrs. Bandit might say, Jim.
Yeah,
Yes,
she might say that.
That's right.
All right.
I'll tell
You
her
don't need to know face.
Dang it, it's already fallen. I cannot keep mine up here. I cannot keep my drawing up
you
here.
can't, that's another thing Miss Bandit probably
That's
says.
right, Jim.
too.
That's right.
And
Happy Thanksgiving, Jim.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you guys
Thank
enjoy
you.
watching
You too,
football
Lance.
together.
Yeah, we will.
With
We
all
will
your
absolutely do that.
leftovers and all of
Can't
that.
wait.
All right. Part of the show today being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Bandit, why don't you tell us about MyBookie?
I mean, you may as well just go there and own the world. MyBookie.ag code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round. The Bandit gives you games to play every week. When you go to MyBookie.ag and you enter code next round at MyBookie.ag, you get a sign-on match of 50% up to $1,000. You put in next round. You make your deposit. They're going to match your sign-on at 50% up to $1,000 at MyBookie.ag. That's with code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round.
Tyler Watts and Jim Dunaway on All Things Alabama. Watch Talk of Champions at Rollside Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
This hour brought to you by Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear, the perfect place for all your holiday shopping. We are easy to find just off of I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. Just look for the big red building.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention next round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of peace of mind with a credit card from Legacy Credit Union. Why risk shopping with cash when you can enjoy the safety and convenience of shopping with their contactless credit card? With a Legacy credit card, you can enjoy incredible perks like rates as low as 8.9% APR, no annual fees, and no balance transfer fees. But that's not all. Earn fantastic rewards for travel and merchandise through Scoreboard Rewards. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com to make your holiday shopping not just safer, but smarter. APR and annual percentage rate. Certain restrictions may apply. Subject to approval. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Ryan Brown here for The Next Round with a question for you. Are you on the bandwagon yet? Bandwagon wants to invite you to one of their 3 retail locations in Birmingham for all your holiday shopping. Bandwagon has the top brands in sporting goods, athleisure, and lifestyle apparel. You can check your entire family off the list at Bandwagon with brands like Task, Bird Dog, and Varley, plus the best in sports equipment. Visit the Bandwagon locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trussville, or online, bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Okay, we're about to hear some of the sounds of the game as we get ready for rivalry weekend. Again, live tomorrow, and then back with you on Friday after we all take Thanksgiving off. Safe travels to all of you as you go over the woods and across the bridge and
over the river and through the woods.
Over the river and through the woods. Where are you going? I wasn't going to grandmother's house.
Oh, you're obviously flying if you're over the woods.
Clearly, you're lost.
I was going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Anyway, safe travels on this Thanksgiving week, wherever you're going. Eagles beat the Chiefs last night in Monday Night Football. Big basketball happening tonight. Couple of top 7 matchups. That includes number 2 Purdue, number 7 Tennessee in the Maui Classic. 7 o'clock on ESPN, Kansas and Marquette. 1 versus 4 at 9:30 on ESPN from the Maui Classic. Something to keep an eye on tonight. Also, Auburn in action against Alabama A&M. UAB's on the road. Alabama and Destin. A couple of big matchups this weekend, including Ohio State. Get a little basketball game this weekend for the Tide, who is up to 17 in the new AP poll. Football in a second after I tell you about our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living right now. Listen, I'll just be honest with you. Leslie doesn't want you to call her today.
What?
Go ahead and enjoy Thanksgiving, eat all you want, and then next week, go into this website, aplanforme.com, and find out how eating healthier, managing your diet a little bit, can help you control blood pressure, cholesterol, lose a little weight. Now, when I say manage it, it doesn't mean you have to start not eating. I eat a couple of protein bars a day, my own lunch, my own dinner. I had 4 chili dogs on Saturday. And I just get right. I did 4 of them
at one setting.
4 chili dogs, 2 at lunch, 2 at dinner
for dessert
with some chips.
Yeah.
But then I get back on the plan. I lose the weight. It all works out fine. That's how I continue to maintain my weight loss and my healthy living with my friends at Way to Wellness. You can find out about a plan that's designed for you. I wasn't going to give up chili dogs or steaks or dressing at Thanksgiving. Leslie will work with you. Just go to aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness. Your journey to healthy living. I did, Rockstar. Maggie will ask me occasionally when she's in a good mood. So twice this season. It's a joke. She's always in a good mood. But she was like, hey, we'd gone to breakfast at the Waffle House. It's at Sunrise. My son loves to go, so we went there before we did our pregame show. And as we were riding back, she like, hey, is this one of those days you're going to compare me to Jennifer Brown.
Gosh.
And I'm like,
is this one of those days?
Yeah. And I said, what are you talking about? And she's like, is Brown going to send you a picture where Jen's got this great, thing cooked for him to watch football today? And I said, maybe. She goes, well, what are you craving? Because I got a free day. I'm not studying. And I said,
suck it on it down.
I said, I feel like we're out behind the Tasty Freeze.
So you be Diane, I'll be Jack. Real quick.
Yeah, please.
So she went and got all the fixins for some homemade chili dogs.
And y'all moved to the country, apparently.
We got a little chili from our friends at Hamburger Heaven, who make great chili dogs by themselves. But I want to make them at home. You know what I did?
What?
I got the sauerkraut.
Yep.
Squirted the ketchup and the mustard in it. Spun it around, let it sit there and soak and absorb like they do at the stadium.
Yeah, that's old school right there. I like that. Yep.
It was good.
Yeah,
it
good
was
for
really
you.
good. Right,
Utah, give me 4.
So you did ketchup, mustard, sauerkraut, and chili on top.
Chili on top.
And cheese on top of that?
Cheese was in the bottom of the bun.
Oh.
So I put the cheese in the bun,
Damn.
put the hot weenie on top of that.
Hot weenie.
Right.
Every time he calls it a
And
weenie.
you put a slice of pizza. You put it in a slice of pizza and close it like an envelope.
I sprinkle little onions on, and then I throw on the mustard. Your mouth's watering. That's it.
Oh, no, it sounds fantastic.
Mustard,
I need
ketchup, and
anything right now,
sauerkraut, and then I throw the chili layered on top.
Interesting.
And it just falls all over the place with every bite.
Well, yeah, you got to go.
Then I've got a spoon and a chip, and I'm like,
good for you, man. What a day.
So good. I wish the football had been better. Speaking of better football, we got rivalry games this weekend. That includes our own Iron Bowl, where the betting line has been hanging around, about 14 and a half?
14 and a half. I looked this morning, mybookie.ag, 14 and a half is where you find Alabama as the favorite.
You've heard of the 24-hour rule with Alabama. They talk about it all the time. You enjoy a win, 24 hours, and then you start moving forward. Malachi Moore said not for him this past week. He ignored the 24-hour rule.
Malachi, we all know about the 24-hour rule that's here and seemingly everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you wait 24 hours before you started thinking about Auburn after Saturday?
I'm not gonna lie. I watched their game this past Saturday as soon as I got home, and then after that, later that night, I had started watching their offense on Saturday night. So, nah, I ain't listened to the 24-hour rule.
Imagine his surprise when he went and watched the previous games after watching Auburn, New Mexico State.
So he watched New Mexico State first, and then went and watched the Arkansas game where they scored 48 on the road against an SEC team.
That's right.
And he probably was like,
who got hurt?
Yeah. He kept clicking. Is this Auburn? Is this Auburn? Because it did not look the same. But Malachi knows what everyone else knows, that the Auburn team that played New Mexico State will not be the Auburn team that plays this weekend. They will look in the same uniforms. They'll have the same names and numbers, but the effort will not be the same. Auburn's effort tackling this past weekend was pathetic. They were horrible at tackling.
I mean, I don't know an Alabama fan out there that might say one thing, but in the depths of their soul doesn't fully expect Auburn to look like the 07 Patriots Saturday, play their absolute best game of the year. Now, again, Auburn's A game versus Alabama's A game, and that's why, Nick Saban preaches what he preaches. Their A game is irrelevant. You go play your A game. Auburn's A game versus Alabama's A game. Alabama wins this game probably by the point spread. 14 and a half. Alabama's that much better than Auburn. And that's why Nick Saban preaches what he preaches. Don't let them determine it. You go play your A game, and whatever Auburn does doesn't matter. If you play your best game, if Alabama plays the best we've seen them play this year, this is an easy, not easy. It's a comfortable win for Alabama.
If you go back to the last time Alabama and Auburn played there, Alabama's team was so much better than Auburn's team, that Brian Harsin team. But you go back, you go back to that one game, Auburn found a way to expose Alabama's offensive line, specifically one tackle, and Bryce Young had zero time to do anything the entire game.
And Jamison Williams got tossed on that target. I mean, that was a important factor in that game. That was a Blitnikoff level receiver right there.
Yeah, so you had some things that pop up, but one thing was with the crowd there, they were able to exploit a little bit the offensive line. Well, Alabama's offensive line has gotten better.
It has
as the year goes on. But if you look at one thing that could be a path to victory for Auburn, is you try to exploit the left tackle, which has been a problem early in the year for Alabama. Now you're on the road, that hostile environment early in the game. Watch and see how the left tackle holds up for the Tide.
Well, I agree completely on that. However, since Jalen Milroe has become more of a willing runner, now Alabama's made some adjustments in the offensive line too that have helped, I think. But since Jalen Milroe has become more of a willing runner, it has helped that tackle out, right? I mean, you can only fire off on that pass rush so much if the quarterback just pulls it down and runs where you left, right?
Yep.
And takes advantage of that vacancy, steps up in that pocket, and if he can't find a open receiver, just takes off and runs for a first down. That'll slow down that pass rush as much as anything will. So I do think that is helpful to Caden Proctor, that Alabama has been able, or Jalen Milroe has been able to run more, and they've had more called runs, which slows down that pass rush. And you've seen the net effect of that is Milroe's getting hit a lot less.
I also think Tommy Rees is doing a better job of calling plays. The quick, shorter passes for Jalen Milroe has helped that pass protection as well. The mindset of Auburn is another storyline that I think everyone is concerned about. Hugh Freeze yesterday at his news conference on just how basically it's Humpty Dumpty. Fell off the wall, it's cracked into pieces, how he puts it all back together again this week with Alabama coming to town.
Is this team capable of coming back from an embarrassing loss like that and playing their best game, which is what it's going to take to beat Alabama?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Sure hope so. That's part of, you play this game or coach this game long enough, you're going to have some of those, and how you respond to it will determine a lot about you as a team and as a person. And I wish I had a better pulse for that, but I haven't seen them yet. And met with the Culture Council this morning. I like their response. But that's going to be a good test for all of us to see how we respond.
I mean, it is an unknown. I mean, even in practice, I think, because you've heard coaches like, man, we had a great week of practice. Don't know what happened to the game. So even if you have a great week of practice this week, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're back. You're back mentally. I don't know. I mean, if you have a bad week of practice, I've heard teams have bad weeks of practice, and the game lights come on, and they're a different team. So, that's not always indicative, but I think if you're Hugh Freeze, you hoped that the first practice of this week, as soon as they got out on that field, is the most spirited practice of the year, that your team didn't wallow in misery and hasn't checked out because of an embarrassing loss, and you had the most spirited practice you've had.
Do you believe in, and I'm talking to the chat room as well, do you guys believe in throw out the record books for rivalry games? Do you believe throw away the record books? This is a standalone game. That's what makes college football great. Doesn't matter what Auburn did in the previous 11. Doesn't matter what Alabama did in the previous 11. Throw them out. It's 60 minutes, and all that matters is Saturday.
In some cases you can. I think, in the Iron Bowl, when you say throw out the record book, what you're actually saying is, oftentimes, if you've got a situation like you got this year, a team that is underwhelming, a 6-6 type team, right, versus a team playing for the national championship, oftentimes, especially at home, that underdog team puts up a much greater battle than you would have ever imagined, much like back in 2021, that type game. If you're going to throw out the record books anywhere, you're going to do it at Jordan-Hare. The last upset at Bryant-Denny that I can remember, well, I guess Alabama might have been technically, Lance could answer this, I guess they were favored in 2010. But
they were slightly favored.
That's a point spread upset, but, to call that an upset, that was the number one team in the nation. That was the eventual national champion. So I don't really view that as an upset. The last true solid upset, I think you'd have to go back to the Trey Smith game running wild in 2002 against Franchione. Now, that's the last one I can remember at Bryant-Denny, unless I'm missing an obvious one. The upsets feel like they happen almost every other year at Jordan-Hare.
That's right. Sometimes it's Alabama not losing at Jordan-Hare that becomes the upset.
That's right, yeah.
It's out of the norm. Other games, rivalry games, including Georgia, where they are not getting talked about nearly enough on their road to the three-peat, and I've got a thought on that when we come back. After Brownie tells us about our friends at A+. Tell us about A+.
It's A+ Tile Home Remodeling. That is the company that redid our master bathroom, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. You can call them yourself. I'm going to tell you why you need to call them, and Scott's showing you some photos of our old bathroom. That's the way it looked when we bought our house. And we wanted it more updated. We wanted the darker colors. So Jennifer scoured the internet to try to find the best person for the job. She found Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. We gave him our vision. He did it exactly to our vision. It's exactly what we wanted. He didn't try to come in and sell us, hey, let me do it, get out of here quick. He said, what do you guys want? You tell me and I'll make it happen. That's what happened. 205-422-1758 for Brad. 205-422-1758. Anywhere in Alabama. Master Bath Kitchen. I tell you that all the time. It's where you get your money back on remodels. Brad will take care of you. In fact, Lance saw our master bath in the photos this got shown. He's like, hey, I want it done the same way. Now, when you look at Lance's photos, you could see he's not just hung on doing it one way. It was the exact opposite for Lance, from darker to lighter. He does it to your vision, and he does great work. His crews are timely. They were efficient. They were clean. They worked their tail off. They got in and out of there quick. Here's the number for Brad Bell, A-plus Tile Home Remodeling anywhere in Alabama, 205-422-1758. Tell him you want a bathroom that looks like Brownies or Lance's. He'll know what you're talking about. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A-plus Tile Home Remodeling.
Also, our friends at Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila, asked for by name. Maestro Dobel, made with 100% pure agave, aged in European oak barrels. Asked for it by name. It is the robust, clear tequila. It is Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila. I think I'm right, Rockstar. We're all the way to the top of the hour here, correctly? We've already done 2 breaks in this hour.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, so to go back to your question, good work by the chat room there. NH3425, Auburn 10-6 at Jordan-Hare in the Iron Bowl. I think that is correct. Bobby, last 4 Auburn Iron Bowl wins were underdog wins. I believe that also is correct. G. Curbo, or Jerkabo, depending on who's calling his name out.
Yeah, it's G. Curbo. I don't know why you messed that up.
G. Curbo, Calhoun County guy.
Thank you for our service.
Hey, you want me to tell you a cool story about G. Curbo real quick?
Yeah.
He said, I did some research. Alabama hasn't covered the spread at Jordan-Hare since 2011. It's only been 2011.
That's a trend in angle.
So G. Curbo, he came out to Bud Light Game Night the other night. As you mentioned, he's in the Alabama National Guard, one of the great brave men that serves our nation there in the National Guard. And he's from Calhoun County. I didn't know that. He was like, hey, listen, I want to tell you how I got hooked on the show. So an old buddy of mine, a guy named Chris Randall, who has been a coach at White Plains High School, Jimmy D, over in Calhoun County for years. And he used to tell me, like back when we were in radio, he said, I put your show on in the weight room. The guys in the weight room, they all listen to the show. And then when we transitioned to this, same thing. I just put it up on the screens now, on the video screen. So when they're coming in and out his class, they watch our show. And that's how he got hooked on our show.
Yep.
He was a student of Coach Randall, my buddy Chris Randall over there at White Plains High School. He's like, I used to have to watch your guys' show, and I learned to love it. And now I watch it every day. So thank you, G. Curbo.
Yeah, we had some people, old coaches of mine, driver's ed, would do the same thing. Throw it on and force the kids to listen, basically.
That's right. We encourage you to do that. Force the kids to listen. They'll eventually grow to like us, I promise. Our wives did.
Kirby Smart getting ready for the Georgia Tech game. But also he's in the process of a three-peat. And would you agree we are not talking enough about where Georgia is here on the road to the three-peat. Now listen, Alabama was at this point in their three-peat back in 2013. Then the kick six happened a decade ago. They'll be honoring that this weekend. USC made it all the way to the championship game in their three-peat, 03, 04, 05, and they're leading late when Vince Young. So Georgia still has some work to do to make it to where USC was in the three-peat push. But they are where Alabama was. If they survive Georgia Tech, they will pass where Alabama was on their three-peat road. But Kirby Smart, we're not talking about this enough. And he got asked this week, and we've been debating this all year long, is Kirby enjoying this ride or not? Is he able to enjoy what is going on?
You want me to tell you how he answered?
Yeah,
you think I get it right?
Okay, let's see.
Guys, every game, he's going to say something to the effect of every game has a life of itself. I don't enjoy the ride because it's all about the next thing. If you start enjoying the ride, you're focusing too much on what you have accomplished. We haven't accomplished anything. What have we accomplished? That was last year's team.
Okay,
that was 2 years ago's team.
Let me rephrase the question
okay.
On how the team is developing. Are you enjoying watching this team develop?
Oh, I love watching this team develop. That's one of my favorite things about coaching is when you see a kid where he comes in to where he ends up. And that's our job. That's our job to develop. And I love watching that. I mean, you take, for instance, Ladd McConkey. When Ladd came in, that kid was 5'9", 110 pounds. We put some weight on him. We turned him into a great wide receiver. It's guys like that make me want to keep coming and doing this.
Here's Kirby Smart.
Has it been fun this season to watch the progression from August, September to now?
It's fun tonight. It's fun tonight. It's work during the week, and it's not the stress of the streak or stress of the wins. I mean, my wife and son, they're sitting over there. They got to put up with me all week. And, you get tighter and tighter and tighter as the week goes. I'm not comfortable. I'm not going into a game comfortable. So that wears on you in terms of the wanting to be at your best. But you got to relax and know that you've done a good job. I read what what Nick said recently about how much he enjoyed this team, because it was not about all the stress and all the stuff about it, like just enjoy the team. And I think, you know, you can learn a lot from that, especially a guy that's done it as long as he has, and he's at the point he is in his career where he's like, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy being out there at practice, enjoy being around the players, and not the expectations that so many of you guys have.
Love the duck face.
I sometimes, he does finish with the duck face after whispering expectations. I sometimes wonder if Kirby likes his job.
I think he does. I don't think he's much like Nick early on in his time at Alabama. I don't think he always enjoys talking to other people about his job. He just likes doing his job.
Well, but I think Dunaway, I think what you're seeing there, though, he mentioned what Nick Saban said. I think what you're seeing is the difference in a guy that is carrying the weight of those expectations versus a guy who, for the first time in quite a while, has coached a season without the target on his back. He gets to be the hunter a little bit. And it is I don't think either one of those coaches would ever tell you they pay any attention to that, but I think it's human nature to, is that I'm carrying the weight of expectations of talking about three-peats and things like that. And you fast forward to Nick Saban, hey, I still got a really good roster, and for a change, I get to be the hunter, not the hunted.
And I feel like Georgia the last 2 years has still been able to play the role of being the hunter not the hunted.
Yeah, and I think what else you see with Kirby is he knows, and Nick Saban has fought this too, and Kirby fought it with Nick Saban when they were in Tuscaloosa, is keeping guys hungry is tough. You know?
It is.
Keeping guys hungry.
It is the biggest thing that they have to do.
Because I mean, you like, if you're a Georgia player, you walk into this Georgia Tech game, the human nature again is to think, why aren't we even playing this game? I guess it's a meaningless football game, man. I mean, we're a better football team than them. We got to go to that little old stadium in Atlanta and play the game. The real game in Atlanta is next week when we play Alabama. That's the meaningful game. That's what human nature does. And for Georgia Tech, this is absolutely their Super Bowl. If they win this game, they'll tear the stadium down. And that's why coaches like Kirby Smart get a pit in their stomach every week. He knows he's a better team than Georgia Tech. Nobody's going to argue that one. But he's got to fight the battle of a team that gets fat and happy and takes a week off in their mind.
Yeah, best team doesn't always win.
No.
Hey, our South Carolina's Juice Wells says he will not play this weekend against Clemson, but despite what you're seeing on the internet, he's not opting out for the NFL. He says he's coming back to South Carolina next year. Arkansas will be without Rocket Sanders. He has a torn labrum now. Got that last week in the Arkansas game. So he will not play for the Hogs as they battle Missouri this weekend. And if I asked you the most penalized team in the SEC this year, who do you think it is?
The most penalized team?
To date.
In the SEC.
Yeah, Saturday Down South does a great job of updating this every week.
Yeah.
Most penalized team in the SEC this year.
It has, Alabama has been in the mix, but they've cleaned that up some this year.
Alabama is the sixth least penalized.
Yep, but they've been down near the bottom. And
Auburn is fourth least penalized.
Yeah, they've cleaned that up. I would say the most penalized team this year is Florida.
Florida is the third least penalized
Okay, so
team.
I could not have been much further off.
And this is disappointing by fan expectation. Tennessee is the most penalized team in the league this year, and their opponents in games they're playing is the least penalized.
You didn't bring this up to Clay, I noticed.
I did not.
If I asked Josh Heupel, Coach, I was digging through some of the statistics this week, and I was looking at penalties and noticed your team is the most penalized team in the Southeastern Conference, and your opponent is the least penalized team. I just wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
Tight shot, Forster. Here we go. This is the way Heupel would respond.
Yeah.
He'd be like, tight shot, Forster would be... Was that silence long enough? Yeah. Was that, oh wait.
Oh, wow.
Was that silence long enough?
Rockstar, you too? What is...
Are you double chinning it, Rockstar?
Y'all are awful.
Bobby from King of the Hill.
I mean, Alabama...
He does get a lot of that on the internet. Bobby from King of the Hill.
For the last 2 years, Alabama has been in this discussion. That is one thing they've cleaned up, and I know Tennessee fans don't want to hear me say that, and I know there's this perception that Alabama gets all the calls, but we've actually done the work, and for the last the work on looking at this the last 2 years, and Alabama has been in this position. So I guess somebody's going to have to be there.
It's Tennessee now. Ole Miss is 13th. South Carolina, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Arkansas as the most penalized teams. Vandy's the least penalized.
Yeah, they feel sorry for him.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, 4 Downs is part of it. E.G., Emily Grace is going to join us for Trash a little bit later on in the show. And then we'll hear from Mike Norvell coming up to wrap up. No, excuse me, Dan Orlovsky's with us today.
That is correct.
Orlovsky's with us coming up. All that's still to come here on the show that is brought to you in part by a couple of great folks like JohnstonRVCenter.com, Brownie.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator is where you find them. Forest River Expo, that's where Johnston RV Center's good people went. And they saw all the new floor plans that are coming out, and they selected what's going to work best for you guys. And they're on the way. So the Call of Fall is going on right now to make room for those. And that means you could get travel trailers, fifth wheels, $50,000 and more off. Great savings on those. Travel trailers as low as $179 a month with approved credit at Johnston RV Center. You can find them in person. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, or always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. That is JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Chase says it's all the false starts and illegal formations in that hurry-up offense for Tennessee there. Zach joking that Red Elephant Club money spins.
It's been good, don't it?
Yeah, it works out really well. Hey, by the way, if you're looking to spend a little money, you get that cooling system ready to go for winter. You can do it with our friends at Hemphill. For all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. It's Hemphill Services. You can call them up right now, 205-229-2090, 229-2090, or just Google the name Hemphill and get the best in the business when it comes to plumbing, cooling, and heating.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
Give the gift of Daniel Moore art this holiday season with the 2024 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar. This year's calendar features collectors' most beloved Daniel Moore Alabama football moments, from the classic goal line stand to the Saban-era 2nd and 26. Special offer for listeners only. Buy 2 calendars and get 1 free with code HOLIDAY at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Are you ready to make this holiday season one to remember? Legacy Credit Union is here to make your dreams come true with their lifestyle loans. Whether you need a little extra cash for gifts or you want to take that unforgettable holiday vacation, Legacy has the right loan for you. With affordable monthly payments, flexible terms, and absolutely no collateral required, Legacy Credit Union is your trusted partner for your stress-free holiday season. Apply in minutes. Go to LegacyCreditUnion.com to get the financial support you need to enjoy the holidays to the fullest. Again, LegacyCreditUnion.com.
Some restrictions apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's time to start thinking about employee holiday gifts. Consider getting your hardworking guys a pair of Red Wing boots. Each day your employees are on the job site helping your company succeed, so reward them with comfort at its best. The Red Wing mobile shoe truck can visit your shop and fit your employees with a great selection of boots. Or Red Wing gift cards can be purchased at your local Red Wing store, available in all amounts. Whichever program you choose, your employees will appreciate the quality, service, and selection from Red Wing shoes, and they'll also be thankful they have such a great boss. Reward your employees this holiday season with Red Wing shoes.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, by the way, join us Friday morning. We're going to get an early start on Friday. Iron Bowl week. You'll be out Black Friday shopping, or maybe you'll be at home by yourself while the wife or daughter is out shopping. We're going to go early, 8 a.m. Extra hour of the show on the Iron Bowl Eve. So we're going to go 8 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time, a 4-hour show on Friday on the eve of the Iron Bowl to give you a little bit more Iron Bowl coverage coming up on Friday. Maybe hear from some old friends.
What?
Maybe hear from some old friends.
I know on Friday's show already, I believe we've got Roman Harper going to make his appearance on Friday. Joel Klatt supposed to make his appearance on Friday. Todd Furman, as always. So we'll have a fun, normal show on Friday. You'll be tired of your family by then. So 8 a.m., you just jump on with us.
So 1 hour earlier, and we'll go 8 to 12. 4-hour show live on Friday. And we'll have an overtime for you, too, and all that afterwards. So just bonus coverage coming up on Friday, Black Friday, after we're off on Thanksgiving Thursday, but back with you on Friday. So Wednesday show normal, then Friday early at 8 a.m. Central, we'll get going. A little bonus coverage for Iron Bowl weekend coming up. A little bit on what Joel Klatt says about Florida State, and then you'll hear from Mike Norvell right after Brownie tells us about our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag.
It's where you can go and get that 50% sign-on match up to $1,000 when you use code NEXTROUND. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. You make your initial deposit. They're going to give you a sign-on bonus up to 50%, and that's up to $1,000. Sign-on bonus of 50% up to $1,000. You can use that money right away. Win once with it. It is yours and yours forever. Everything. Like they got live basketball going on right now. I was just looking at it a moment ago when I was looking for a point spread. Everything online there at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. I bet you didn't know this, Jim. The Iona Gales are up 41-40 on Long Beach State.
I did not.
Could have played it right there at mybookie.ag.
Okay, so we've got college football, such a big thing this weekend. And tonight the college football playoff rankings are released again, and we've got 2 more rankings. Another one on Tuesday night after rivalry weekend, and then the big one on Sunday after the championship games. But now we've got Florida State without Jordan Travis. Joel Klatt on his platform last night, and we'll ask him about this on Friday. He ranked his top 8 teams, and he says, listen, he put Louisville 10 and Missouri 9, but he says really it's about the top 8. Those are your playoff contenders. He put Florida State 8th.
I don't really have a problem with that. I mean, if you first of all, let me say
that Joel Klatt is not a crimson colored glasses guy.
No.
I said Florida State is 8th, people would be like, oh, you're just trying to make a case for Alabama. I understand that.
In fact, Joel, I was watching Michigan and Maryland. He was back on that, Alabama's playing Chattanooga, the November bye week, when Michigan's here on the road playing Maryland, which my counter would be, if Alabama, when Michigan was playing nobody, Alabama was playing Texas. So right. I've never really understood that argument from Joel, but it's one he has stood by for years. So to say he's just doing what would benefit Alabama is not true, or Texas or anyone like that. I mean, even with Jordan Travis, were you convinced Florida State's a top 4 team?
No, I'd said before the injury, we talked about it on the show, the pregame show before Florida State even played, that Herb Street and McAfee and Desmond on game day were making a case that a one-loss Alabama or a one-loss Georgia or somebody like that deserved to be in more than Florida State unbeaten, and that was with Jordan Travis. But it did shock me that Klatt dropped them all the way down to number 8.
That is a long drop, there's no doubt, but I honestly don't have a problem with it. I mean, if you put Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, Oregon, Washington, there's 7 teams right there on a neutral site with Florida State. I don't know how many of those I think Florida State would beat.
Without Jordan Travis.
I mean, I'm not sure how many with Jordan Travis, but I think it's all 7 that I think would win without Jordan Travis.
Well,
I got them losing to Florida, so I mean, you can look right in front of me and tell that. So
on the night they beat LSU, we thought that was LSU with their usual defense.
Yep.
This is going to be a typical LSU secondary, and they just torched them.
They killed them in the fourth quarter.
And we thought, man, if they can do that to an LSU defense, look out.
Yeah.
But as the season went on, we found out that LSU was basically just USC East or USC South, however you want to do it. Just a lot of offense, not a lot of defense. And LSU is one of the quality Alabama wins, so you cannot not say that. But Alabama also has a quality win right now over Ole Miss, somewhat of a quality win over Tennessee. We'll see if they hang in tonight.
That has taken on a lot of water. Yeah.
That'll be very important tonight that Tennessee hangs into the top 25 in the college football playoff rankings. And it'll be interesting to see down the stretch here, if Alabama beats Georgia, what that does for them. But for Florida State, here is their head coach, Mike Norvell, about moving forward without JT.
Jordan will be talked about forever in this program, and what I love is that it's not necessarily going to be just about his playing ability. It's going to be about who he is, and I think you feel that impact, and so there's concern. A lot of guys have got a chance to go and see him and spend some time with him, and so and he's sent his message to the team, and make sure he's communicated throughout this weekend. But there's also an expectation. And there's a responsibility that we have, for him, because he's been such a huge part of this journey, and we've got work to do. Where we go from here and how we do it is what we control. And so, I thought our guys came with great purpose yesterday, and I was pleased with the work that I saw. Guys know what needs to be done.
He should be banging the drum already. Wow. He should be. All due respect to Jordan Travis, I would let him know privately. But, dude, we've got to stop talking about you now. We've got to start talking about we're where we are because of 84, not because of you, not because of jersey number 13, but the 84 other guys in the garnet and gold. They need to be talking about we are deserving, just with Tate Rodemaker at quarterback, just like anyone else is when they play. Alabama, they flipped a quarterback a couple of times. And you guys are going to talk about they should be ahead of us. Malik Murphy played a couple of games for Texas. You guys are going to talk about him. They should be ahead of us. I'd be just banging the drum now. We're no different. We're unbeaten because of the 85, not because of the 1.
Yeah, and I haven't watched all their games. I'm not going to pretend that I have, but I know that Rodemaker played against Virginia Tech when they were up 39-17 and Syracuse 41-3. And Wake 41-16, and Pitt 24-7. He played in all those games, Jim. You know what he had in common in all those games? They didn't really throw the ball. Against Virginia Tech, 0 of 1, 2 of 2 against the Cuse, 1 of 1 against Wake, 1 of 1 against Pitt. And I get that these coaches don't want to run the score up on anybody, but this is why when kids like that get in a conference game, I'm sorry your team sucks, but I got to let him throw the ball a little bit. I need him to be prepared for this situation. Is Tate Rodemaker prepared for this? I mean, he knew he was going to play against North Alabama. He did not think he'd be playing in the swamp unless it was mop up late.
Yeah. NH3425, if Florida State wins out, I don't see how you don't put FSU in the playoffs.
Yeah, because you don't think they're one of the 4 best teams. It's a hard conversation to have,
but again, I say close your eyes. And I don't know how I want it to go either, how I would do it. But I would say close your eyes, and if Alabama had beaten Texas and they were unbeaten and Jalen Milroe gets hurt in the Iron Bowl and Alabama wins that game and beats Georgia, do they still deserve to be in there?
Because your backup quarterback beat the number 1 team in the nation.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's an easy discussion.
So you're saying there's not enough runway left for Florida State to prove it against Florida and then Louisville.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, if this were October and I could say, hey, you know what, they didn't have a drop-off. And this is hard, man. I mean, I hate this for Florida State. I hate it for Mike Norvell. I like Mike Norvell. I got nothing against the Florida State program. I love Jordan Travis. Kid's got a great attitude, it seems. But this is just an unfortunate situation, and this is a business. It is not personal. It's business. As they said in The Godfather, the business is I got to find the 4 best teams, and I know it's going to hurt, but without him, I don't think you're one of the 4 best.
Andrew says move Florida State out. If they prove themselves, then move them back in. Florida State will be moved out tonight, and they were going to be moved out even when Jordan Travis was healthy because Washington got another quality road win, and it was close for them being jumped last week. Washington should have been ahead of them last week.
Yeah.
They'll be ahead of them this week. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if Washington moves into the 3 slot at some point. So,
well, and Mike asked the question on Twitter, was TCU one of the 4 best last year? No, they were not. I think we proved that.
Yeah, but they did beat Michigan.
They did beat Michigan,
they were in the finals.
but they also lost 62-7 to Georgia. I mean,
well, maybe they were just maybe they weren't one of the maybe they weren't the best, but maybe they were one of the 2 best.
But they were not a conference champion. Yeah. I mean, they were. But it was different last year because we had to scrounge around to find 4 teams to play in this thing last year. We're not going to have to do that this year. That's why, when you try to make comparisons year to year, because you did it with Cardale Jones, which was true, but we were not necessarily in the same situation. This is going to be a year, and it's a pretty rare year, but it could be a year, Jim, where we get to the end of this, and they're like 6 or 8 teams that we got to find 4 out of.
One more soundbite, Rockstar Cut 9, before we get to our 4 downs today. I want to tell you, though, our friends at Hemphill bring you the sound of the day, and they bring you lanceslock.com as well, lanceslock.com. And they do so many things at Hemphill. They fix it right, they fix it the first time. They'll give you a check on your heating system before you need it. I think that price is around $69 right there, if you mentioned that you heard about it on the next round. Plumbing, cooling, heating needs. Trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. It's Hemphill Services, 205-229-2090, 229-2090, or just look up the name Hemphill. This is Jed Fish. He's the head coach of Arizona. I'm going to say that his soundbite here is going to make the folks in our chat room upset.
Uh-oh. This guy's done a good job. What can he say that's going to make upset?
He has done a good job. But it seems like there was a time we were hanging banners up in Tuscaloosa for SEC West basketball division champions.
I think that banner is up there, back when you used to have divisions in basketball.
And maybe have been bragging about SEC Western Division championships in Auburn for football. Well, one thing doesn't exist anymore in the Pac-12. That's divisions.
Yeah.
Unless you're at Jed Fish's news conference this week, listen to the head coach of Arizona.
Don't do it, Jed.
There's an important game on Friday night, Oregon State. Do you openly discuss that with the team? Do you worry maybe if it doesn't go your way about the emotions and all that?
Yeah. Yes and yes. But I don't worry about – I guess I should say yes. Our guys understand the significance of that game. I told our team yesterday we're Pac-12 South champions.
Oh, no.
They just decided to change the rules of the Pac-12 championship game a year ago. But if you look at it, we clinched it. We clinched the Pac-12 South. So our guys understand that they had that's a nice little feather in their cap. And to finish going into week 11, to finish ahead of the other programs, regardless of the outcome of the final week. The second part of it is, there's no concern at all in my mind about the emotions of our team for this game. We are playing our bitter rival, and it is a duel in the desert. It is 2 teams in the state of Arizona going at it, and I have no concern that no matter what happens on Friday night between the 2 Oregon schools, that our play will be any different at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday.
Game in Tempe, I almost like Arizona State now if he's been spending time calculating if they would have won the Pac-12 South, or if somebody has even spent that time and bothers him with that.
In one soundbite, his stock as a head coach has dropped for me.
Now, look.
First of all, he didn't look. I've never heard a Jed Fish news conference before.
That's not what I thought he looked like.
I didn't think he looked or talked like that.
Yeah.
He looks different on the sidelines.
Now, I will say, though, the poor guy is at Arizona. You're looking for any victory there. I get it, right? I get it. He's at Arizona. What have they won in a very, very long time? So he's looking for any victory. And I get that maybe somebody would have been like, Jed, if we still had the Pac-12 South, we'd be going to the conference championship game. You'd be getting that big old bonus in your contract for going to the conference championship game. And I'm sure somebody told Jed that, but for it to come up to your team and in a press conference is weird to me.
Daniel says this guy and Coach Prime should have a beer after the season and hug it out. between each other.
He's done a really good job. I mean, let's don't get lost in what I find a weird comment. He's done an incredible job. This is a team that lost at State to start the year, Dunaway. I mean,
Mississippi State, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They lost at State to start the year and are now the Pac-12 South champions. That's a heck of a turnaround.
Tom says, what win does Alabama have to stand on in the playoff discussion? When it counts in the playoff discussion, if Alabama's in the discussion, it would be over number 1 Georgia. That would be the win that it would have to stand on.
It'll be the best win of the year for anybody, yeah.
Currently 13th, but moving up Ole Miss. Currently 15th, but moving up LSU. And currently 18th, but dropping Tennessee. Those are Alabama wins.
But if you want to, go beyond the top 4 and have that discussion, even if you want to include Florida State in it, every team is in that same bucket. I mean, Oregon does not have a top 25 win currently. Not a single one.
And Florida State's only win is what would be at this point Alabama's second best win, which is LSU.
Yeah, because Duke's out of the top 25 now, right, for them.
Oh, yeah.
Washington.
They've done well.
They've got Oregon.
And
that's it.
Part of the 4 downs. So let's get to 4 downs. It's brought to you by Slice. Get by and see any of the 4 great locations of Slice. They bring you 4 downs every day. You can get a slice in a salad, 2 slices in a salad, take home a pizza, whatever. Great folks there at Slice. Those locations in Montevallo, the original there in Lakeview, Vestavia, and now in Crestline. Let's do first down.
First down.
Speaking of recent wins, which impresses you more? Georgia running through Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee in 3 consecutive weeks, or Washington winning at USC against Utah and at Oregon State?
Give me the Georgia ones again.
Home to Missouri, home to Ole Miss, at Tennessee.
That's tougher to me. Now, I'm going to give a lot of, and I'm not alone in this. Kirk Herbstreit famously said this a few years ago, that road wins in the SEC should count a little bit more. It's more difficult to win on the road in the SEC than
only one of those at Tennessee.
Yep. But Oregon State is a tough place to play. But it's, I don't think, anywhere near what Neyland Stadium is on a big game and was Saturday. To me, it would be tougher to play that Georgia stretch than the stretch Washington played. So I would give more credit to Georgia.
I do too, Georgia. But a nice run for Washington right there. All ranked when they beat them. Oh, by the way, let's do second down.
Second down.
More likely to happen in your mind, South Carolina beating Clemson as they play that game in South Carolina this week, right? It's in Columbia? Yep, in Columbia.
It is in Columbia.
Or Kentucky beating Louisville. More likely to happen, South Carolina over Clemson or Kentucky over Louisville?
I'm with our absentee friend here that had Kentucky in his upset alert. I think Kentucky wins that game straight up. I think Kentucky beats Louisville. It's going to be a bad weekend for the ACC because I think Florida State's going to get jumped by Washington tonight. And then I think Kentucky is going to beat Louisville, which is going to further diminish the only remaining game, assuming they even beat Florida, that Florida State would have to make a national championship argument. I think this is going to be a tough ACC weekend with, I think, Florida State losing to Florida and Kentucky beating Louisville.
Third down.
In the game, Ohio State and Michigan this weekend, more rushing yards. Travion Henderson of Ohio State or Blake Corum of Michigan?
I'm going to Travion Henderson of Ohio State. I think Ohio State's defense is playing really, really well. I think yards are going to be at a premium, and I think Michigan is playing around their quarterback right now. I think they're trying to win without putting too much in their quarterback's hands. And I think it's going to be tough sledding for Michigan. I need to look at the total in this game. Don't you feel like a very low-scoring game in this, Jim?
I do.
So both of them have played all year.
It'll be more than Ohio State Notre Dame, but less than Michigan Maryland.
The total is 46. The Vegas total. Michigan currently at mybookie.ag a 3-point favorite. I would like an under there. I think I would play under that.
23-20? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think even maybe less than that. I think it's a game that could potentially be played in the teens.
Let's do fourth down.
Fourth down.
I mentioned earlier that Rocky, the original, debuted on this day in 1976. I'll bring Rockstar in to answer this question as well. The first adult movie, not going to see some kids movie or something, but the first, and I'm not saying like porn.
Well, I was going to answer that. Go ahead.
Yes. Change your answer now,
I got a few. There's different
varieties. The first non-kids movie that you went to the theater to see.
By myself?
That you can remember. Maybe your parents took you, but it wasn't a kids movie.
I remember by myself, I convinced, because there's 2 movies out. One was, I think it was Deceived with Michael Douglas and Demi Moore. I think that was it. My parents went to that one, and I convinced them to let me go see Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead.
Wow.
By myself, and it was in the last 30 minutes was in 3D. And was not a pleasant experience for me. And I remember the theater was pretty much empty except for a few teenagers, and I heard giggling and beer bottles falling all around, and I was by myself. So Freddie's dead. I can't remember, but
you don't know what year that is?
Whatever the year that Deceived with Michael Douglas and Demi Moore came out.
1975, Jaws was the first real movie I think I remember seeing.
So I can vividly remember not knowing why my parents would not let me go see The Best Little Warehouse in Texas.
Yeah, because of the spelling error.
And I mean, I just remember the ads for it. It was Burt Reynolds, who was at the top of his game, Dolly Parton, who doesn't love Dolly Parton, Dom DeLuise, who was a funny comedian back in the day, Jim Nabors was in it. And I vividly remember seeing the trailer for it and riding by and seeing it on the marquee at Plaza Cinemas off of Quintard Boulevard there in Anniston, and not understanding why my parents wouldn't let me see Best Little Warehouse in Texas.
Yeah, why? I mean, why not?
And then I realized later in life that wasn't Warehouse, that was Whorehouse, and that's why my parents wouldn't let me go see it.
And I watch it often.
But
now it's deceiving in another way.
You know, I've never go back to watch it just to see if I would have liked it.
No, I've seen it before once, and my biggest the thing that's not the bridge that's too far into me in that one is that the Texas A&M Aggies beat Texas that day.
Oh wow, how about
and
that?
They got to go to the Best Little Warehouse in Texas.
Did they? They got to go tour the warehouse.
Yeah, they pulled up. Junction was the Best Little Warehouse in Texas that day.
But the one I can absolutely guarantee you that it was the first one I saw with my parents was Top Gun, which I think was that 86 Rockstar Top Gun?
86.
So I would have been 10 years old.
Wow, I wonder if three of our listeners were in the same theater at the same time. Chad, Daniel, and NH3425 all went in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Well, I remember another crazy thing, 1989, for my dad's 39th birthday. I remember us all going to see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. 39 years old.
Wow. Yeah, how about that?
That's insane.
I think I went with a church group to see that. Is that possible?
It's entirely possible. Yeah.
All right.
That's will pass.
That's our Four Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice. The show also being brought to you by our friends at A+. EG will come in next to take LT's place. EG taking LT's place. Now tell us about A+.
All the letters, Jimmy D. A+ Tile Home Remodeling. That's who I'm going to tell you about, and it's my man Brad Bell. We redid our home bathroom, our master bath, and it was just a little dated. It was white. We wanted the darker colors. And my wife scoured the internet to try to find the right person to do it. She talked to people that had used certain contractors, talked to the contractors themselves. She picked Brad Bell. Master Bath and Kitchen is what Brad Bell specializes in there at A+ Tile Home Remodeling. The good news is when you use that, that's where you're going to get your money back when you go to sell your home. Master Bath and Kitchen, they hold the value. It's what people look at when they come look at a house. What's the kitchen look like? What's the master bathroom look like? So it's going to help your sale price, or it's just going to help you love your house more even if you're not selling it. Brad can do great work for you. He did it for me. He did it for Lance. He's not some cookie cutter guy that just does it one way or the other. I think you can look at the before and afters for my bathroom and Lance's bathroom and tell that. Here is his number. He does tremendous work. I cannot recommend him higher. 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. Anywhere in Alabama, Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Unlocked with Fox Sports' Brock Heward and Lance Taylor weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Tom Luganville here for Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear. For great holiday shopping for the whole family, this place is a must. Jack's carries all the name brands in boots, hats, and apparel, including the Kynes Ranch brand, as seen on Yellowstone. You might not look like Kevin Costner, but you can dress like him. Jack's also has the only Ariat shop within a shop in the state of Alabama. Come see us every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sundays from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Just look for the big red building off I-65, exit 304 in Coleman.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Ryan Brown here for the next round with a question for you. Are you on the bandwagon yet? Bandwagon wants to invite you into one of their 3 retail locations in Birmingham for all your holiday shopping. Bandwagon has the top brands in sporting goods, athleisure, and lifestyle apparel. You can check your entire family off the list at Bandwagon with brands like Task, Bird Dog, and Varley, plus the best in sports equipment. Visit the Bandwagon locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trussville, or online, bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Stop unwanted guests. Save $50 from our friends at Wayne's right now. Call 866-WAYNES-1 this holiday season. Give the gift of peace and security to your home and family with a $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control services. Keep your celebrations joyful and free of unwanted critters this holiday and beyond. At Wayne's Pest Control, we don't just promise short-term fixes. We promise year-round protection for your home, keeping your family, children, and pets safe. Again, call 866-WAYNES-1 today. That's 866-WAYNES-1.
The next round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Will says if we get 400 thumbs up, Dunaway, one in please, has to chug a beer. I'm a slow beer drinker. As my friend Dirty says, you need a pot holder with that.
Would you chug one?
I can't chug one, but...
We're at 84 right now. I mean, what are the odds we're going to get to 400?
Oh, no, 0 then. Yeah, sure. I'll chug
so
a beer at 400.
Everybody watching, just click the thumbs up. It is so easy to do.
Yeah, if we get 400 before the end of trash, I will chug a beer.
Before the end of trash? They said by the end of the show. What, Rexer? Oh, I thought you said something.
Yeah.
That was EG. We have similar voices.
Yeah,
you and EG?
yeah, we do.
I've heard that.
EG is here with a hat on, by the way.
Yes.
By the way.
I'm debuting the trash hat.
Yeah, you can get those. What's the deal in the store right now? That's one of the new ones. I'm wearing the new shirt. You and EG have new hats.
I call that a hoodie, not a shirt.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Buy one,
Important
get one.
correction.
Buy one, get one 50% off, and free shipping. Orders over $100. So you buy one, get 50% off your second choice, and then it's free shipping for orders over $100. Is it buy one, get 50% off? If I buy 2, do I get 50% off 2 different ones?
Is Lunsford back there?
He's not.
Can we just
So just start out, yeah.
And
could I buy a keychain and the next thing be 50% off after the keychain?
You got to use the promo code Black Friday 2023, Black Friday 2023 to take advantage of all the deals. You can read the fine print when you get there.
Yeah, there you go.
Just hit the thumbs up so Jim has to. That's where we got started.
Hey, Champy's Chicken brings you this hour of the show right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. You've yet to have Champy's Chicken.
I have yet to have it.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
think I know where I'm going for lunch now.
We're gonna figure it out. Champy's Chicken, to get her some Champy's Chicken, Mississippi Delta recipe tamale, and so much more. Champy's Chicken. Sterling and the crew ready. When you get tired of the turkey on Friday, start swinging by Champy's Chicken for the rest of the weekend, including your tailgates or your Iron Bowl parties. It's champyschicken.com. Dan Orlovsky in the next segment. Dan on with McAfee right now. And then he'll hopefully slide over to us.
The old back-to-back for Dan
Probably from the same Kitchen Island location there. Redmond Vodka bringing you the show as well. 8 times distilled, gluten-free, Charles Barkley's Vodka. Friends at Redmond, they all have a big tailgate party going on at the Iron Bowl this weekend. We look forward to them. You've been to one of their tailgates.
Yes, I have. It was a great time. I enjoyed it. It was me, Taylor, Lance, and it was before the Auburn-Georgia game.
Yep.
Great view of the entirety of Auburn on top of the Laurel. So maybe we go there on Saturday.
If I asked you quickly, Jordan Travis's injury, does that impact your vote for the Final Four? If they win the rest of their games, do you still put them in unbeaten?
No, I don't think so. I think that is a very big impact. And first of all, the guy has such a great story.
He's a great story, yeah.
No, don't water down your hard take by
No.
saying the guy's got a great story.
I mean, that's what complicates this.
Right.
These are humans that are making these decisions, and this is a tough decision you're about to make.
He's a great kid. He put it all on the line to go back to FSU. I think we'll see a 30 for 30 about him for sure, if not a movie. Is Stetson Bennett still getting a movie? Have you guys heard about that?
I have not heard. Stetson kind of disappeared.
He did.
He ran into some issues out in L.A. and we hadn't heard from him
Okay,
again.
Miss Know Everything.
Oh my goodness.
No, here we go.
No. Wait, why am I know everything?
Yeah,
no. Let's preface that first. Why am I know
Why
everything?
are you taking shots at EG?
Carson Beck.
Okay.
Carson Beck gets hurt tomorrow in the Georgia Tech game, or Saturday in the Georgia Tech game.
Okay.
And they win the rest of their games.
But see, then they've beaten Alabama. That's what I keep telling you. Then you look at that, like, they're good enough to beat Alabama. I mean, assuming Alabama beats Auburn, Alabama is still, in that top 8. If they beat Alabama, I'm like, well, that backup was good enough to beat Alabama. He's in my playoff.
Right.
Michael Penix gets hurt in the Apple Cup.
I think
they win the rest of their
They
games.
beat Oregon.
You can't blanket it. I think each situation would be unique. But for me personally, if Carson Beck goes down on Saturday, if they beat Alabama, then, I mean...
Every example you've used, that team has got an opportunity to beat another quality team, and that's what Florida State, unfortunately for them, does not have.
Right.
They're going to play Louisville, and nobody believes in Louisville.
All right, let's get to trash right here. The person wearing the trash hat's going to read it for us. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Hit it, Rockstar.
Now, the women love you when you get out there. Why do you think that is?
Because
Why
I
do you
look
think
good.
that is? You
I
look
smell
good.
I
Yes.
feel good.
And you sing good.
And make love good.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, there we are. We don't have to ask anybody else. We got that from the source. There you are.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Mortgage Right. You put the M in mastery when it comes to your home mortgage. The first stop you need to make when you're ready to purchase that new home or refinance is mortgageright.com/TNR. Mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender. EG.
Okay, so these
This is
stories...
like when the bridge collapsed downtown, Rockstar, and the mayor wore the hat that said mayor on it.
Oh, but American K.
Yeah, American K. So it's the mayor because he's wearing the mayor hat. I know this is the trash visitor because he has the trash hat on.
I was going to go with the Rockstar hat, but I pivoted.
Good pivot.
Yeah, we pivoted.
I would just... I'm horrible at compliments.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed.
All right. Okay, so this is going to come off like I'm saying you don't look good without
Oh my
a hat.
gosh, so let's stop it there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But you look really good with a hat on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Why don't you just say that part? Like, why?
Right. Why do we have to preface it?
I don't think the preface was needed.
Because if I said you look really good with a hat on, like do I not look good without a hat on?
No, that's my mind doesn't go there.
That's what Dunaway was saying.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Anyways, so I'm going to preface these headlines because some of them are a little confusing. So hold the questions.
Okay, you got it. All right, I will not ask a question.
Florida mistress shoots into car of her sugar daddy's girlfriend and infant child. Okay,
I got a lot of questions.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, first off, is that the infant child? How old is this girl?
This is
How do you want your hair? It's going to be really confusing. I'm going to draw it out for you, but this is how I want it
Oh,
cut.
a bunch of different styles.
Yes.
This is the mistress.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's
So-
who he's leaving his wife for?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Girlfriend.
Girlfriend, my apologies.
Girlfriend.
I mean, if I was putting an age on this girl, like if you put a blue bonnet on her and put her on a buttercup, she would be 16. How old is this girl?
They do not give ages, but I'm assuming. I mean, I would give her probably older than me.
Okay.
So she's 20.
20? I'm going to go 24, 25.
There's not a wrinkle on that face. Photoshop.
Anyways, so a Florida woman who was the mistress of a man she referred to as her sugar daddy is accused of firing a gun into the car of the sugar daddy's full-time girlfriend.
Sugar daddy was a little busy.
Yes. All while the girlfriend's infant child sat in the car.
That's the sad part. We laugh at a lot of stories, but that's just insane.
Okay, so
you just go to prison.
So we got a what now? We got a sugar daddy.
So we have a sugar daddy.
Okay.
And he is dating, let's say, Jane.
Okay.
This girl?
No. Jane.
Jane's full-time.
Is Jane the full-time?
Jane is full-time.
For the sugar daddy.
And Jane has a baby. I don't think it's a sugar daddy's baby.
Just okay. Let's leave the baby out because it gets
Okay.
sad. Then.
Yes.
Okay. Sugar daddy has a full-time girlfriend. Then
On the side, he is giving, her name is Zara Percy.
Her.
Mullet, party in the back.
Okay.
It is business up front, no doubt. Nice part.
He's giving her, I would assume, financial assistance.
If that's what you kids are calling it.
I guess. I mean, that's sugar daddy. That's typically finances.
Yeah, for a reason. Yeah.
And it was at a Wendy's. So the victim.
Oh,
hell yes.
Another step, yes. The super bar.
The victim, which is Jane. We're saying Jane.
Right.
So Jane said she went to pick up dinner from Wendy's at around 9 p.m. on November 4th when she saw a silver car parked outside her house. According to an arrest affidavit obtained by Law and Crime, she told authorities she had seen the car pass by the residence before, so she approached the vehicle. That's where I don't agree.
I'm going to approach this vehicle.
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah. So the unidentified woman parked next to the vehicle, so she's in the car. So parks next. She saw Percy exit the apartment building. The woman's boyfriend, who is also the father of the 1-year-old child, was walking with Percy. So turns out the kid is the sugar daddy's biological child.
Man,
a lot going on.
What a mess this guy's in.
So is there a chance that this young lady was trying to get the full-time girlfriend out of the way?
Just want to talk to her.
Right.
The gun accidentally went off.
Not a stakeout at all to see when she would leave.
Yeah. Knew she was craving that Frosty at 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
though, didn't she?
Oh, my God.
So there's that. That was a little confusing.
That was a little confusing, all right. Is
but
this
we
better?
got through it.
Yep.
Next one, I am going to have to preface this one. DC taxis can now pick up your Uber ride. If you request an UberX this weekend, a DC cab might just show up. Uber announced a partnership Friday that would give DC cab drivers access to Uber trip referrals. Riders who request an UberX will be notified if they are getting a taxi and will pay UberX rates. Riders will continue to have the option to specifically request a cab, in which case they will get a fare range based on the taxi meter.
I kind of thought that was Uber's whole business plan.
You're kind of taking it. It seems like we're going to have a little congestion in D.C. this weekend.
It must be. What's going on in D.C. this weekend?
I don't know.
I would say that if I was the cab owners, maybe they're independent cab owners. It's not like Yellow Cab, where at that point Uber's your rival.
Yeah, there's no doubt, but can't beat them, join them is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So this is also happening in New York City, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Uber says that from April through June of this year, taxi drivers who participated in the San Francisco program earned 23.8% more than drivers who did not participate. So I guess it's helping out the taxi.
They earn 100% more than me.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, do you guys take taxis?
I haven't
these
had a
days?
taxi in a very long time. Since Uber came on the scene, I've been pretty much
These
Uber.
guys have taken a rickshaw.
I've actually taken a rickshaw since I've taken a taxi.
It is so weird. I told that story Sunday night. Gets a big laugh every single time.
Yeah, I don't like taxis. I did not like them back in the day. I would get anxious watching the meter go, and I would always think they were driving me around.
Oh, the long way?
Different way to up the charges.
Yeah.
And you know, like
before you have maps on your phone too, like you didn't know.
Yeah, like Uber they want you out because they were ready for the next one. They're only getting a certain amount of money. They're ready to get you out.
That's a good point.
Get you there as quick as possible.
I always felt like the taxi with that meter going, man. He is
Why
not upset we're stuck in
Take
traffic.
the scenic route.
That's right. Yeah.
Get me out of this traffic.
You
Let's
don't want to go that way. There's too much traffic.
No,
We're going to go the back way.
We're going to stay on the 405.
Now, in Italy, Uber is illegal, as far as I know. Yeah, so we had to take taxis.
Oh, about that.
And there's something, I don't know exactly what the deal is, but they also have a black market Uber network.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am not getting into black marketing. I can promise you that. You end up without a kidney that way.
Dan Orlovsky coming up in 6 minutes.
Jim.
Yes, I caught that one. Thank you.
You look good to have.
Thank
today.
you. No, you're going slow. Okay, so does anyone have their Christmas tree up?
Not yet.
We do. Yes.
Well,
it's first time ever.
You should put up your Christmas decorations, and you should, according to psychologists, we all know at least one person who already has their Christmas tree and placed an angel on top, while everyone else on the block still has paper ghosts stuck to their windows and a rotting pumpkin on the stoop.
Yeah, it does happen that way.
It does.
Maggie leaves town tomorrow to be in Mentone all weekend, and she decided she did not want to come back on Sunday and put them up late, so she decided after her finals she has decorated the house.
That's good, though. I like it when it's decorated.
Yeah, I
Not
do
your
too.
house, my house. Your house, fine, too. Yeah.
Well, according to science, these eager decorators aren't eccentric. They're simply happier.
I
keep
mean,
that in mind.
it does. It
Do
does.
you remember in COVID times, people put their Christmas lights up? Do you remember how
Oh,
people
yeah,
start
yeah.
putting like in April?
Just to try to cheer things up.
I would tell you that I thought about this going to the golf course yesterday because Maggie made me leave the house while she was decorating.
Dan Orlovsky in 5 minutes.
Because
Thanks, Rockstar.
Before you finish this story.
You get a lot of me saying, "Really, we're going to put that there?" Or really?
Oh yeah, God, I could not
So
imagine.
I had to
putting a
get
tree over
out, and on my way to the streets already are decorated with their lighting and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, we spend 1/12 of the year."
That is such a Dunaway line.
In the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
I like to extend it further than that.
So you came home and Maggie said, "Hey, you like the tree, Jim?"
We're going to put it there this year?
I'd go to the final story, EG. Just go ahead
Okay.
and wrap it up.
All right, moving on.
Do the best one left.
I asked non-Americans to tell me what they thought of each U.S. state. BuzzFeed started a little experiment to find out what non-Americans associate with each of our 50 United States.
Okay.
This is going to be fun.
This is Alabama.
Alabama.
That Reese
That
Witherspoon.
Country and racist and inbred Trump supporters.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got
I encourage you all to keep thinking that way and do not move to Alabama.
Yeah, you guys need to visit.
Nope.
What about
Just stay
California?
The settling of the most dramatic teen shows, the setting from the most dramatic teen shows from the 90s.
Sunshine, unreasonable costs. That's
Fires. A nightmare disguised as a dream.
Can you imagine somebody describes your state as that?
Wow.
It's a nightmare disguised.
Because you got Florida
Oh, Disney World, of course.
America's penis.
on the DL.
Yeah. America's penis. We're never happy.
The bad place.
I don't think that is accurate at all.
What makes Florida the bad place? I like Florida.
Yeah.
Florida man, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think I would rather Maine be America's penis than Florida.
Okay.
All right,
All
that's
right.
interesting. That's
Put that on a
Thank
t-shirt.
you, Jim.
Illinois.
Cold and has good sandwiches. Chicago and Home Alone. Oof. Not a lot there.
Good sandwiches.
They do have good sandwiches up there.
Oh, sadly. September
New York?
11th,
Okay.
New York.
Oh, that is sad.
King Kong Party. Concrete jungle where dreams are made.
New York.
Yeah, good.
Cowboys.
Texas, the Cowboys, too hot for civilization, yeehaw, and guns and obesity.
That's really nail it down. And I think Wyoming's the last one.
Wyoming?
Desolation and despair. Lots of sky and horses. Wind all the time.
I didn't know it was that windy
I
up
didn't
there.
either.
Foreigners are not big fans of Wyoming.
No,
Or
apparently
Alabama
not.
for that
Yeah.
matter.
And that is Trash Today, brought to you by EG and our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, Mortgage Right. First step you need to make when it comes time to buy that new house or do the refinance is Mortgage Right. They put the M in mastery when it comes to the mortgage. MortgageRight.com/TNR NMLS 2239 equal housing lender.
Oh, is that live? Orlovsky, he's still on with Mac.
Yeah, I believe
You want to
so.
throw another story? You got the other story?
Sure. I was going to say we left out Georgia for obvious reasons because it would just be too much good stuff.
Yeah,
Just
Georgia,
greatness.
home of EG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do another one. Keep me on the clock, Dunaway. You just let me know.
As soon as you see Orlovsky disappear down there.
Okay, I'll just immediately cut. Okay, this one is a little confusing. Man paid women to manipulate, listen to their abdomens, and record them in fake medical study.
We all have weird fetishes.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. And I like to listen to women's abdomens.
Yeah.
Just
So you
put my
like to
heart-
hear the churning inside?
Yeah. I take pictures, of course.
Of course.
So this man, I guess, posted somewhere that, hey, medical study going on, and he did pay them in cash. So they show up and they were paid in cash. He actually turned himself in to the police station.
Yeah, this guy wants to be punished in prison.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on this old boy right here. Yeah.
So the money supposedly came from the company conducting the study, and the alleged scheme ended when investigators said they found a hard drive containing several recordings and photographs of unidentified female victims.
What are you recording? The gurgle?
I have so many questions.
John, what are you doing in there? Are you listening to those abdomens again?
Shut up, Mom.
Come out. Come out. Are you thinking about that time Tammy ate a burrito again?
Oh, Tammy. Love me some Tammy.
First
You
name
just
I can
don't
think
know
of.
who's weird in the world, you know?
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Most of the world.
Some people we do
is.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some that are.
Oh, you
obvious.
got where you said Tammy. I'm here for your Tammy ache.
Oh, very good, rock star. All right, that is Trash again, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Dan Orlovsky scheduled to be with us here momentarily, though right now he looks like he's forgotten about us. We'll find out on the other side of the show. That's being brought to you by our friends right here at Champy's World, famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. If you were there today, I'd recommend an appetizer
Okay.
of the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the best I've ever had. And then I would go with the Southern fried chicken, white meat, dark meat.
I don't have a preference.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Maggie likes the thighs and the legs, the dark meat. I like the breasts. I always just felt like I got more meat that way. I like it that way. Hand cut chicken fingers and so much more. Y'all make everything horrible.
I mean, she's looking right at her when he's saying it.
I'm not looking at her at all. We're back in a moment right here on the next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy, all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
That's okay. You can stand up. Emily Grace coming in and get a nice little Sprite Zero. Sprite Zero there. Thirsty after that extended trash there. Appreciate that.
Yep.
What?
You remind me of a guy that rhymes with Vic.
Wow. Michael?
No. Marcus.
Dan Orlovsky is brought to you every week by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Scheduled to be with us here momentarily is him to talk a little NFL, where last night the Chiefs got the win. The Eagles got the win over the Chiefs, 21-17. A big part of that game was Devontae Smith's big catch, 41 yards from Jalen Hurts, who's been playing with a knee brace, but the Eagles are now 9-1. Also in the NFL. Go ahead.
No, I was going to tell you, after that game, what is really interesting is going to be this race for the 1 seed in the AFC. I think it's clear the Chiefs are not going to pull away with it the way they have. And, right now Baltimore has it based on the fact that they've played more games. They're 8-3. But you got Kansas City, Jacksonville, Miami, and the Cleveland Browns, all at 7-3.
That's right.
All racing for that 1 seed right now. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how all that plays out in the AFC.
Wouldn't it be crazy if DTR could get the Browns as the 1 seed in the AFC, but he couldn't get UCLA close to a playoff?
It's wild, isn't it? And, I mean, they're living on their defense, obviously. Jim Schwartz done a great job of that defense because they've had to play their backup quarterback a lot this year, whether it be DTR or P.J. Walker.
Yep. Hey, overtime today is going to be Village Vice. A little reaction to New Mexico State's loss, rebuilding the Auburn mentality going into the Iron Bowl. A good breakdown from our friends at Village Vice. That is coming up at the top of the hour. You get that at War Damn Pods and wherever you get Disrupt the Media. Like and subscribe, thumbs up there as well. In the NFL as well, Matt Canada fired as the offensive coordinator of the Steelers. Sort of a historic moment.
It is a sad historic moment, but Mike Tomlin makes the announcement today. Matt Canada has become a lightning rod of controversy from Steelers fans. In fact, at various other sporting events, the fans were cheering Fire Matt Canada. And this was, I think, at a hockey game. I think at a Penguins game they were cheering Fire Matt Canada.
Yeah.
So this guy had become the face of the Steelers' offensive struggles this year, as you do when you're the offensive coordinator or when you're the coach, you take the brunt of it. First time, according to Adam Schefter, since 1941, the Steelers have made an in-season coaching move. I'll say that again for effect. First time since 1941, pre-World War II for the United States, that the Eagles have made the Steelers have made an in-season coaching move. And I'm not just talking head coaching. That is a staff change in season. That is incredible that they've gone that far.
Smuff says, with musical notes, blame Canada. Blame Canada.
They did, trust me. You say it's not his fault.
I don't. I think it's a Kenny Pickett problem.
I mean, he's looked awful. He has looked awful. But, sometimes you see quarterback, offensive coordinator, bad marriage, and then you get a new coordinator and it just changes everything for the quarterback. There are obvious examples of that. You hope that's the case with Kenny Pickett, or else the Steelers are going to be drafting quarterback again soon. You just can't stick with him long and let him develop in this league anymore. It's almost like if they don't come in developed, you just about have to be ready to pull the trigger and go to another guy. So I don't know. I hate it for Matt Canada. I hate it. Steelers are a proud franchise. To have to do that for the first time since 1941, that's pretty brutal.
I do not know the South Park reference, Jason. You're right. So blame Canada's from South Park. Is that correct,
yes, it's
Tyler?
From South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut, I think it is.
Okay. While we await Dan Orlovsky, maybe not happening, we'll find out.
Can't we go into overtime with him? It's really no big deal, right? We can go extra with
I'll
him.
go as long as you want. Oh, in fact, this is weird.
Okay, so I'm learning Pat McAfee's taped.
No, it's just a little delayed maybe on our system.
Could be. I have no idea.
I'm still getting Dan Orlovsky on my PMS Live right now.
Quickly out of the pocket and then in with us, man.
Yeah.
Dan's still fleet of foot, Jimmy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I want to go that far.
I think it's about a 15, 20-second delay because
Okay,
now he's off of McAfee.
Yeah.
Now he's up here on my screen. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, they got to put him on delay for the language.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, mybookie.ag, code next round, bringing you Dan Orlovsky. I was just pointing out the fact that with that Chiefs loss last night at home, this AFC 1-seed race is going to be intriguing. It does not appear that the Chiefs are obviously going to be able to pull away like they have done in years past. And you got a ton of teams that are in this, not so much in the NFC with the Eagles, but definitely in the AFC.
Yeah, and that was why last night was so interesting. Like Patrick's never played a road playoff game. Ever.
Wow.
And still a great football team. And honestly, I watched that game and I say, I still think the Chiefs are, if both teams play to the level that they play a 10 out of 10 or A game, I think the Chiefs are a better team. I mean, the reality is the Chiefs have 2 red zone turnovers, one by Travis Kelce, who's covering the ball like this, and Patrick's interception. That's a bad throw. Unlikely to happen that consistently from those 2 cats. And then, obviously the drop touchdown with a minute to go. So, Philly's a great football team. Kansas City's a great football team. But now Kansas City is sitting there going, well, Baltimore's in the mix and Miami's in the mix for a 1 seed. And just we've never seen that. We've never seen Patrick and Andy Reid lose off of a bye. Well, that's checked. We've never seen the road playoff game. And that's just we've never seen them not have the bye. So that's a big deal.
I'm trying to think. It seems like anytime Brady made it to the Super Bowl, it seemed like it was always through home games too. Like when Brady lost, it seemed like it was road games. I would imagine the stats show that unless it's Eli Manning, usually home teams do well. But are you worried about these receivers? That seems to be the big takeaway today. They're dropping so many balls in Kansas City. Are you worried about it?
Yeah, I think it would be ridiculous for me to say I'm not worried about it. I also sit here and I go, do I think that, because the question is, can they fix their issues? Of course they can. Their issues are they drop the football too much and they have too many penalties. Those are literally fixable. It's not, hey, our quarterback can't throw or we're not talented enough on the offensive line. And so while I'm sitting here and saying like, yes, I'm not going to be the person who goes, not a problem. I do believe that it is something that if paid attention to and focused and really worked on over the next 6-7 weeks and into the playoffs, that won't be the reason why they lose games. And that's happened twice this year now. Game 1 and obviously last night, drops have been the reason why they lose games. I don't know if I've ever seen a team that was a Super Bowl caliber team not win it because they've dropped the football too much. Now, first for everything, but I'm not banking on that.
ESPN's Dan Orlovsky with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round to get that sign-on match of 50% up to $1,000 at MyBookie.ag. As a Dolphins fan and having seen Tua play in this state, I know he's been understandably given the label of injury prone. It is something he's not been able to shake. Do we give that to Joe Burrow yet? Is that something we talk about with Burrow yet?
It would be ridiculous not to. It'd be unfair to the people that we have said that about, Tua, Lamar Jackson, that we don't. I love Joe Burrow. No one in the world is a bigger fan than Joe Burrow than I. 2 out of his 4 seasons, he has suffered season-ending injuries, and that's brutal. So, for me, Ryan, it's like, why? Why is it happening? One, I think he's been hit more in his first 4 years than any starting quarterback in the history of the NFL. I think I saw that stat. We all know that his second season, the Super Bowl year, he was hit more than, I think he took more sacks than anybody in the history of the league. Him or David Carr still in that conversation. So have those hits started to build up? He still gets hit a lot, And so if you look at, I remember having this conversation about Lamar, and it was how many times he had been hit in the first 4 or 5 years of his career. And it was something like 1,000 times. And it was comparable to a Cam Newton. Well, Joe's obviously not that type of runner, but Joe has been hit in the first 4 years so many times that, yes, we can say that injuries have been a part of the conversation too much. So injury prone, however you want to call it, but they got to figure out how to fix that. They got to figure out, because it's not the question of, hey, is he good enough or are we good enough around him? It's like, how do we make sure we don't lose him because we get him hit too much way too often?
Tom Brady is making news for a comment he made about there's a lot of mediocrity in the NFL. I want to ask you if you agree with it or not. Do you have any advice for Tom as he slips into retirement that maybe he shouldn't criticize the game? This seems like old guy reaction, something I would say about the old golden days of my youth.
Execution-wise, he's accurate. Consistency-wise, he's accurate. Talent-wise, that's not the case. There's way more talent. But I totally agree with his point of, in the whys, the rule changes, the emphasis, the commitment to, doing straining, because the reality was the field when Tom was certainly playing, it was shrunk. We didn't have as many spread formations. It was shrunk down. So the precision was at a primary. There's not this overwhelming need for precision anymore because the field is so much more spread out. We play in such a more spread out game. RPOs have become a bigger part of the conversation. Quarterbacks don't get hit nearly as much, or I don't want to say as much, but as violently. They're protected more. Receivers are protected more. You can't be physical with receivers as much as you used to be able to. So that doesn't, when you're a quarterback and you're taking a 7-step drop and you have to hit your back foot and throw an in route, and while that receiver's getting ridden downfield, if there's not precision on the timing and placement of that throw for 4 quarters, bad things happen. That's not a necessity anymore. because, like no longer can that DB, that guy 12, 14 yards downfield. And no longer does that quarterback have to go from under center, hit his back foot and have a defensive tackle hit his face mask in the middle of it and trying to break his face in half and throw the ball before the guy's ready. So he's right in that regard. Absolutely.
Before you go, the Thanksgiving Day as a Lions player is what? You play every single Thanksgiving. It's such a great day for us, and we love watching the Lions. What is it like for an actual player when you're playing for that franchise?
It's unbelievable. And I was most of the Thanksgivings that I was a part of, we were bad.
Yeah.
But I just remember like the fans are unbelievable. There is a Monday Night Football playoff game electricity in the building. Tim Allen's always there, Tim the Tool Man. So anyone who grew up in home improvement like me, absolutely loved it. I got engaged after a Thanksgiving Day game when I played for the Lions afterwards. So a lot of really, really cool memories. Not many good results, but cool memories.
Yeah. Tell me you got down on the knee while they were serving turducken. I mean, that sounds fantastic.
We got absolutely smoked by the Titans, hopped in a police escort to the airport, flew to Philly, and, got engaged, in a surprise fashion there. But that's the best memory I have of Thanksgiving Day in Detroit.
Well, have a happy Thanksgiving, Dan. We always appreciate the time, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Dan Orlovsky with us. Courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on. They will do a initial deposit match of 50% up to $1,000 with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag.
Yeah. A little overtime for you there with Orlovsky today. Appreciate him hanging out with us. About to give you a little bit more from the Village Vice. Those great guys, Zach and Brad, as they get you ready for the Iron Bowl, 2:30 coming up this weekend, CBS. You'll hear it on the Auburn Network and the Crimson Tide Sports Network on the radio affiliates. And then we're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, live with you tomorrow. No show Thursday. Back Friday for an extended show. We'll be with you 8 a.m. live all the way until 12 noon with a little overtime coming up on Friday. All that's still to come as we get ready for the Iron Bowl this weekend. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
This is Village Vice. We're on different sides, but that's okay. Brad Law, I'm Zach Blackerby. And look, Hugh Freeze on Monday at his weekly presser. It's the most ticked and embarrassed he's been by our performance. I'm paraphrasing, but he's clearly still not happy with how things went on Saturday. And Brad, that is the right way to feel about it.
It is until practice today. And so by the time that you're watching this, I think practice may be over, or at least is going on. So, and until practice starts, yes, you need to take that into motivation. Now, where teams beat you twice is if you're still ticked off in a way that's not enabling you to get better. If you're still stuck on Saturday by the time you hit the practice field today, then New Mexico State can beat you twice. And you can't allow that. But I agree. We're talking about the press conference. I like us being on different sides, by the way. We try to switch it up. You got to do something different.
Sure.
Yep.
I hate it. I'm going to switch it. Switch it.
Okay. There we go. You know what? There's a segment of the audience who was having major anxiety until you did that. And
Me.
Now they're okay.
I'm part of that audience.
Yeah,
things need to be the same every time.
And we're never throwing to the tight end. Anyway, yeah, totally the right, because again, like we talked about Sunday, it's not defensible. The loss to New Mexico State's not defensible. And when you do, man, the more you watch it, the more ticked off and frustrated you get. So, another point that he made in the presser was that there's still sort of a fog affecting everybody from that game. You have to move past that. And people are debating, should he have said that in the presser? Should he have said it? Well, it's what he thought, and he doesn't code things or talk in coach speak. So he's telling you the way it is. Do you want to know the way it is or do you not?
I don't think this team's over it, Brad. I'm just going to be honest. I've talked to a handful of players.
Yeah.
They're not over it. They're not over
yet.
it.
And if they're still not over it by the time practice ends today, you've lost today to, by the way, a really good team. So you cannot, and I know it's easy to say and it's hard to do. If it was easy to do, then, press a button and it's fine. But man, you just can't, as bad as it was, you cannot let it negatively affect the work you do today. Today's work is a percentage of what will win or lose the game Saturday, period.
Yeah. Yeah. Hugh Freeze mentioned I always want to call it the leadership council, but he calls it the culture council, I believe. And
Not to be confused with Culture Club.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Is that a reference to something?
It's a band.
Okay.
It's a music group from the 80s.
All right. If you've heard of Culture Club, let us know. I'm skeptical.
It was a fairly
we'll see.
Popular.
We'll see. That's fine. That's fine. That's great. But I think it sounds like the leaders of this team push back against Freeze. And he kind of hinted at it at his presser. He's like, he liked what I had to say. But yeah, there was a group of players. It sounds like there's like, no, we need to get like reamed for this. Like this isn't quite done yet. And so it sounds like a lot of leaders of this team went to their respective position groups and they had some really deep conversations before practice, or at least that's what the intention was. So we'll see if that happened. Hopefully it happened. Brad, I just have a hard time seeing, some of the guys I talked to Monday morning, like you could tell they just weren't over it. So can you change that quickly? I don't know, but I do think you can still be focused on Alabama. I think you can still be hurt and embarrassed and your pride be beat up a little bit from what happened on Saturday and still focus on beating your arch rival because you know what's at stake here. I think both of these things can happen and overlap a little bit more than some of these people are talking about. But we'll see. Auburn's got to be perfect to win on Saturday. They've got to be pretty dang close to perfect or just create a tremendous amount of havoc and pandemonium and opportunities where luck could possibly help you. And I don't know, this is a big week of prep. This is a big week of prep for both sides of the football. And you need every second. You don't want to waste any of those practices. There's no question about it.
Yeah, no, you got to have it. And if you want to make the argument that the team was looking ahead to Alabama, then that should show in your preparation today. Again, I cannot overemphasize the importance of today. And even if you watch this on Wednesday, today still matters. Like the importance of today in winning a game on Saturday. If you were looking ahead last week, well, then let that show up. Let the amount of focus that you put on Alabama show up in your prep on this day to lead to Saturday. So I would almost say that, you should be even more focused on Alabama because look, it's already, again, if you're making the argument that they looked ahead and they were too focused on Alabama, then fine. That cost you a game. You better go make it pay off when you're actually playing Alabama.
I don't think they were focused on Alabama, though. I really do think they just were caught sleeping.
Maybe. It may be. I'm just saying if you're making that argument.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. No, I think it was just flat. I think that there were a group of players that thought New Mexico State was the real deal. And I think a group of folks that did not. And there's just no energy. There's no energy. So it stinks, but we'll see if they can move on from it. Rivaldo, yes.
Yeah, I'm a part of that group, by the way. I thought wouldn't be close. I thought not that you could just go roll the ball out and win, but I thought you could overcome like Ole Miss. Like Ole Miss was only up 3 at the half of their game. And then they came out in the second half, scored 3 touchdowns on 3 possessions, and it was over. You can sleepwalk through a half.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Auburn could get away with that. And I like we discussed on Sunday, I thought till about the midpoint of the third quarter, they're fine. Yeah, they're fine. I was
until the fake punt. I thought it was okay.
I was in that group though that thought, it's fine. So I was wrong.
Yep. Rivaldo Fairweather was seen in a sling after the game, and he's okay. He's okay, just banged up, but that's boy, that was concerning,
Yeah.
but thankfully he's okay.
Yeah, saw him today at the at media opportunities, and there was no sling. So you got to have Rivaldo Fairweather. Like Auburn went to Tuscaloosa and beat a top 10 Alabama team without Carnell Williams and without Ronnie Brown in 2002. But their defense was outstanding. Their defense was loaded with NFL guys, and it was a very different type of scenario. You need Rivaldo on the field Saturday.
Yeah, you need Rivaldo. You need the best version of Jay Fair. You need the best version of Javarius Johnson. And you need a bunch of Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to spend a second just what do you think they're focused on in practice this week? And then I want to pick your brain about basketball, if you don't mind. But mybookie.ag is how you can get involved in all the action, all of your sports betting. They've also got casinos and other things as well. Mybookie.ag. They've got everything that you could possibly want, and you can get some free money to play with right now. All you have to do is use promo code NEXTROUND when you make that first deposit at mybookie.ag, and they will match your first deposit up to 50%, up to $1,000. So, I mean, you can get a bunch of extra money to bet with, and hopefully you didn't listen to us and say Auburn was going to cover, because that obviously did not happen. But man, if you took that money line, if you took that New Mexico State money line, you're in a good spot right now. And also, I'd love to have you on the show. Like, what did you see? What did you see? So mybookie.ag, use promo code next round. You will not regret it. What aspects of Auburn, as far as preparing for Alabama on Saturday, do you think is the very key part of what Auburn needs to do to beat them? Do you think it's trenches? Do you think it's, the DBs need to shut down these wide receivers? I mean, what's one thing, Brad, as we look ahead to Saturday that you think they need to focus on?
I think it's containing Jalen Milroe, because he scored 13 touchdowns in the last, 3 games. And their offense, they've tailored their offense now to what he can do. The receivers aren't getting the type of separation when they had the all NFL receiving core a couple of years ago. They have talented guys, certainly, but it's Milroe and his playmaking ability with his legs. So you need to see a similar type of defense that you saw against Mississippi State and Vanderbilt and Arkansas. And Milroe's probably better than, right? He's better than those 3 quarterbacks. But I like Keldrick Falk. I like Eugene Asante. I like Jalen McLeod. I like those guys' ability to both be explosive and create leverage at their position to close and make tackles.
Yeah.
Milroe beats you by making you miss in open space, and then he's got green grass ahead of him for 25 yards. Or he makes you miss, and he's able to dance around, and somebody finally breaks open. I love the Auburn secondary against the Alabama receivers. I think pressure to contain Jalen Milroe. Make him stand back there and throw 35 passes. That's great. I'll take that game plan. So pressure to contain from those 3 guys in particular, Falk, McLeod, and Asante.
Yeah, it seems like Auburn's been hit or miss when it comes to dealing with mobile quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels at LSU, obviously that didn't go well. And then this past weekend didn't go well. But, the stretch of, KJ Jefferson and then against Vandy and Mississippi State where they played some mobile quarterbacks, I think they did great during that stretch. So they've got the ability to do it. It's just, will they be disciplined enough? When you're excited in a big game like this, you just want to make a play. And when you're keeping containment, that's not always the most sexy thing, right? Because it's the other people that make the play because you had to keep them inside. You got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined on Saturday. And that's something I'm concerned about because, you look at it as like, okay, Elijah McAllister, Keldrick Falk, Jalen McLeod. I mean, all of these guys are going to want to make plays, but you got to make the smart plays so other guys can make plays sometimes. So that's personally something I'm looking at.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Jalen Milroe's number 6 in the SEC in total offense a game. He has almost 2,600 passing yards and almost 2,300 passing yards, only 332 on the ground. Isn't it interesting? Like at this point in the season that it's 332. Now he's played 1 fewer game, but still, because of the flourish the last 3 games, I think it inflates what he's different than what his numbers would indicate. In other words, he's played better the last month than what his overall season numbers are.
Yeah, it took Alabama a long time to form an identity on offense. It took them a hot minute. Now they've not only did it take them a second to figure out who their quarterback was, they've now built this offense around his ability to move, not just him operating within the pocket, which, I think if they play Texas now, they beat Texas by multiple scores, right? And that's kind of a big debate when you look at the CFP rankings is like, well, can they put Alabama ahead of Texas, even though they lost the head-to-head? What does that matter? So I'm really intrigued because, this game means a ton for Alabama. This is a playoff game for Alabama. Every game that Alabama plays moving forward is a playoff game. So they're going to be fired up. They're, I don't know. This is going to be a tough one, Brad. I have a hard time seeing how this goes our way. I'm just being real with you.
No, I understand. The other issue is stopping the run, and Jace McClellan he's number 5 in the SEC in total, yards, rush attempts, right? So only 4 players in the league have rushed more times than McClellan, and one of them is KJ Jefferson. So only 3 other running backs have more rushing attempts than Jace McClellan, but he's averaging less than 5 yards a carry. So 151 carries, 737 yards, under 4.9 a carry. Jarquez's yards per carry or more. The way you force any team into being one-dimensional, even in modern college football, is to stop their ability to run.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think if you're Auburn, the way to try to scheme this game is to say, look, if Jalen Milroe throws it 35 times and they have success in the passing game consistently, okay, like that's fine. If they win that game, then they win that game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I don't think that's their plan. They want to try to establish the running game with McClellan, throw to the tight end, move the pocket with Milroe, and let him take advantage of over pursuit, which most teams have done against him this year. That's on the defensive end. Now, the offensive end, like you said earlier, you have to have Jarquez. Man, Jarquez got to play the game of his life. That offensive line has to play the game of their life. They have to come back and go, we're not going to get penalized 7-8 times in this game. You have to play clean. Let your adrenaline work for you as opposed to against you.
Right. All right, Brad Law, you were up there with the team this past weekend as they're champions of the Legends Classic, which is huge. You saw them firsthand, got to spend a lot of time with them. So let's preview Auburn as they take on Alabama A&M tomorrow in just a moment.
I will, but first it is a Manscaped Monday, so I have to tell you about our friends at Manscaped and the new Lawnmower 5.0. All right, it's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's a ball trimmer sent from space, if you really want to know the truth about it. AI is cool and all, but this may be the biggest technological advancement that the world has ever seen, Zach. Every man knows how scary it can be if you're going for a close shave below the belt, and that's why I trust Manscaped for all of my sensitive areas. And inside this package, you'll get the star of the show. That's the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. They have dual LED spotlights providing contrast on multiple skin tones, 3 length-setting combs, and did I mention that this trimmer is waterproof too?
Wow.
So no more wet shaving in certain areas. Thank you very much. It's the cutting edge in more ways than one. Upgrade your ball trimmer and your life will follow. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code VICE, V-I-C-E. You'll get 20% off and free shipping. Just make sure you use the promo code VICE at manscaped.com.
All right, Brad. If you had to use one word to describe what we've seen from this Auburn basketball team so far, what would it be?
Explosiveness.
Or just explosive, probably?
Sure, I could go with explosive. I mean, I like ultra syllables, so that's fine. I'll trim. You know what? I'll go to Manscaped and I'll trim the nest right off of it and just stick with explosive.
Wow, this is right there for you.
Yeah, it sure was. Thank you for that. You did that well. It was an assist. You're like Aiden Holloway and Trey Donaldson with the assists.
That's right.
The little run they went on in the last 80 to 90 seconds of the first half against St. Bonaventure reminded me of BP's championship teams, the teams that won SEC regular season or tournament titles. And those teams could take a 10-point game and turn it into a 20-point game in no time. Like you just look up and it's bam, bam, bam. And that's what they did in the closing minute or so of that game. They got a 3, a steal, a jam, a defensive stop, and a 3. And it went from 12 to 20 just like that. This team has the ability to do that. They move the ball very well. Their assists per game and assist to turnover ratio is very high. It's elite nationally. If they get the defensive part of it figured out, they are an extremely dangerous top 3 of the SEC, top 15 in the country caliber team because of their ability to score a lot of points in quick bursts.
Which the defensive side of it is not the part I'm worried about, right? To me, the part was, okay, can Auburn score from deep? Because it's been a minute since we've seen that.
Yeah.
I think this team could do that. Bruce Pearl, from a coaching standpoint, will have these guys playing defense by the time the thick of conference play gets here. So the fact that you say all that makes me feel even better about this team.
Yeah, they have further to come. They have a longer way to go defensively than some other teams because, frankly, I think they tailored this portal class to improving the shooting. They had to get the 3-point numbers up. They wanted a little more size and a little more shooting out of the guard position. I actually went into the season much more confident in the 3-point shooting and shooting, in general. Defense has a longer way to go, but I'm kind of like you. It's such a focal point. You can't not improve just because of how much time they spend on it. You spend a certain amount of time on something, no matter what it is, you're going to get better at it. So I do think that's coming. You'll still have nights, just like any team will, where shots don't fall and you have a frustrating night. That's just part of it. That'll happen.
Right.
But yeah, I like the long-term, like the February, March potential of this team. I'd buy stock now. I'll say that they're receiving votes right now in top 25 polls. By the time we get to February and March, you won't find 25 teams that are better.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, so obviously we have a show up today, Monday. We'll have a show go up Wednesday. Then we will have a show go up Friday, all Iron Bowl related. But for now, Brad, that just about does it for today's show.
It does. Thank everybody for watching. Remember, until next time, everyone has vices. Don't let them tell you they don't. Everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.